Wake up, gamers, because you're listening to Big Think Dimension with KZ Excellent,
I'm optimistic about things.
Dan and Bob Video Games,
You see that mountain? You can fuck another man on that mountain.
and Mr. Feel
Lords of Shadow is a bad game.
here on GigaBoots.
And Senor Feel, are you recording?
C. See, that was some weird fucking mind meld shit. I planned to say C before you even called me Senor Feel.
Suddenly a burrito was in your mouth. It was weird.
Feel just starts speaking in immaculate Spanish about... what do they call them? El Patron Taco?
Sopapillas?
No, it's a specific type of street taco. They make the meat like they do for gyros, where they set up a spigot of fucking pork, but they spice it with adobo and shit.
Don't be racist.
Tacos al pastor?
Al pastor. Yes.
You mean pastor?
Yeah, El Pastor.
No.
No, El Peso.
El Pasta.
Don't worry about it. It's like
The most
Burger King
experience I have
tacos.
with Spanish is how I was almost fluent in high school and then forgot all of it because I didn't practice.
Bob took 3 years and then said Paulo reading a chicken burrito like 1 year out of high school. And I'm like, this is a nightmare.
Oh no.
As you can see, Bob is just as cruel to other languages.
I thought it would be funny if he was able to do like perfect Spanish reading somehow.
No, but that's a pretty good bit. We should probably hire like a Latino voice actor to dub him over in something at some point.
I
feel
you.
like Spanish voice acting would be Spanish reading would be the worst for Bob because the thing my teacher always yelled at me was like, Spanish doesn't have any gaps between words, never stop. Like, oh no.
Was your teacher beating you? Was this actually the movie Drumline, but for Spanish?
No.
Drumline is Kino.
Isn't it Whiplash?
Whiplash. Damn it. I was like, I couldn't remember the actor's name either. I'm like, John Jonah Jameson? No, that's a fucking Spider-Man guy. God damn it. What's his actual name?
What the fuck is his actual name?
I don't know. Dave Johnson. J.K. Simmons. J.K. Simmons.
Oh, J.K. Simmons.
Have we become one of those podcasts that opens like a morning radio show where this conversation is the opening?
I'd be
yeah.
fine with that.
Okay.
You want to talk about wrestling?
No. I don't want to talk about wrestling ever, as it turns out.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's there are plenty of places to go on the internet to hear people talk about wrestling. I would like to make one place that isn't that
Like
place.
every single other gaming podcast.
Yeah, literally. I feel like pretty soon you're going to go into GameStop, and instead of trying to force you to pre-order a game, they're going to try to force you into a conversation about wrestling.
You can't escape.
No, that's considered a hobby. GameStop employees aren't allowed to have hobbies outside work.
No.
Oh no.
They're too busy powering the players.
Power to the players.
It's like how the moment you get a job, they pin you down and forcibly dye part of your hair blue.
Oh no.
God, and now all I can think of is that dude. I can't remember his name from Banjo Nuts and Bolts that was just a cheetah with a blue
Trophy
ninja
Thomas.
hair.
God.
Trophy Thomas. Yeah.
He's Ninja's persona.
Yeah. How the hell did we end up in this world? Whatever. In any case, hello everyone. Welcome to Big Think Dimension number 30. It's our 30th anniversary.
I don't think that's how it works.
Finally.
Finally.
Our 30th anniversary, Dan is like, welcome to the 1500th episode of Big Think Dimension.
The podcast is now a boomer.
Let's see. I don't know what the 30th anniversary gift is supposed to be. Pearls? Okay. You guys owe me pearls. There we go.
What is this, the 60s?
Yes, the concept of anniversary gifts coming at specific decades is in fact very
How
60s.
did Dan get that right? How did Dan know that it was pearls?
Useless information.
I know a shitload of useless information. Did you know that there's a word for passing through a window?
No, there's a word for that?
Yes, there's a verb. It's a defenestrate.
Oh, that's awesome. That reminds me of two things. One, the word metempsychosis, which is the word that means your soul, a soul leaving a body and entering a stone. Metempsychosis. The second thing is that Penny Arcade comic where they were at each other's throats, and each one got to draw and write one comic each. And the one Gabe drew was Tycho being strangled by a fucking snake as he goes, I know a big word for being strangled by a snake. And all I could think is it asphyxiate? Like, what's the word? And this many years later, I'm like, I'm very curious what specific word. Anyway. Hey, guys.
Yeah.
I've been trying to quit, but I'm back on it again. I've been playing video games. How about you?
Oh, I was so fucking terrified you were about to say Overwatch.
How would you even have time?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like that's how I keep myself safe from Overwatch. I don't have any fucking time. They can't. My addiction can't catch me if I keep running fast.
Oh, he's Tom Cruise.
Yes, exactly.
When I worked at Target, I had a coworker who had 3 jobs. And the reason he had 3 jobs is every time he had less than 3 jobs, he ended up in jail.
Oh, wow. Oof. The dude I worked with a long time ago, he was a military guy and had a full-time job. He did that because anytime
with Overwatch.
anytime he didn't have that much shit to do, like if he didn't work full-time and have the military job, he would spend all of his money. He would spend every last fucking cent. It's like, man, that's rough.
What else are you going to do with that money?
I mean, he was like, he considered a day off a day he only had to go to one job.
Yeah, that's kind of how I look at it sometimes. I'm like, I have the day off. I only have to edit one podcast.
What a relief.
You only have to do one potentially 6-hour stream.
8 hours later, I thought it was only 6. Oh, man. But, you know, I don't want to talk about what I've been playing quite yet. I'm still trying to muster up the energy.
I thought we were going to save it for the stream content itself.
KZ, what have you been playing since last week?
I played a little bit more Fire Emblem 3 Houses somehow today.
Oh,
I was only able to today because, you know, I'm making content out of it, but I was able to get a little bit more of that done. It's still good. I like it. There's really nothing else to say about it.
Oh, okay.
You know, aside from, you know, the mechanics haven't changed, and anything else would be like spoilers, so I'm not gonna.
Gotcha.
I finished it. I'd say I'd give it about a somewhere around a 9. It's pretty good overall. I'm gonna wait until the cheater DLC is out to do any other routes, and I'll probably just do like one each because there's 4 routes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just do when I finished one. So I'll just do one with each big DLC pack that comes out because like the first one is just going to be all the cheater DLC probably.
What does that mean? Cheater DLC?
It means they give you a DLC map that lets you power level really fast, one that lets you get powerful items really fast, and one that lets you get money really fast. Man, both
weird.
Fates and Awakening both had these, and they haven't confirmed that's what it is, but it's like, we're adding special maps as the first pack that aren't part of the story, and it's like that, they're cheater maps.
It could be anything.
Yeah, that's the SMT approach, because all of their games just have those.
Yeah.
And the game has a really good New Game Plus mode, where in the normal game you have the system where you pay renown to get like boosts to experience and stuff you earn. All those bonuses carry over into New Game Plus, but nothing else does. But you can now spend renown in your bedroom to raise your skills back to what they were in the old save, and to raise your social ranks back. So I think that's pretty good because it doesn't just make that mechanic obsolete on New Game Plus, and it lets you like, okay, now I can recruit everybody on this second run.
That's cool.
I can just steal everybody. But yeah, I'll probably just go through each remaining route with each DLC pack. Really curious what that final one is going to be, because that one's going to be story related.
I always like it when the second playthrough allows you to open up options that maybe wouldn't have been, I don't know, the most balanced or whatever, most interesting to allow you to select all of. Kind of like the second playthrough of Persona 5, how you just play as a fucking Chad. It's like,
yeah, you carry over all your social stat.
I'm the most brave motherfucker you've ever met. I'm ripped as shit.
I can tell you off now.
I can tell you off now.
Trails of Cold Steel, which has a very has the same social element, has the thing where New Game Plus, and that just gives you infinite social points. Because on your first playthrough, you have to pick who you hang out with because you have limited amounts of time. But in New Game Plus, it's just like, have them all.
You get to tell them off now.
It's just fucking Kylo Ren's ripped like a fucking... like Joker's ripped like Kylo Ren, and he's like, hey, no thanks. He's just got giant fucking muscles.
Persona 5, but your character model looks like a fridge.
That's already a boss in Persona 5. There's a guy who's basically been Swolo.
Oh, that's good. That's true.
He has Char's voice actor.
Raw.
Oh, man.
Should I keep going? Because I don't think KZ played anything else.
Oh.
And I did play one.
KZ, did you play anything else?
I literally thought he meant, do I keep going on Fire Emblem? And I'm like, what? Do you need to hit a quota? but yeah,
no,
I'm good.
I played one other thing. Actually, I played two other things.
Yeah, I'm good. Go ahead.
First, I played some Janemba today, because Janemba came out in Dragon Ball FighterZ. He seems cool. My brain isn't big enough to figure out whether he's good or not. He has some interesting stuff.
Okay.
But I don't know if it's useful stuff.
Man, I just wish I knew whether or not the movie he's from's good. If only we had some sort of resource, some sort of archive.
If you would like to give us the chance to find out whether Fusion Reborn, the Dragon Ball Z movie, is good or not, you can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/gbpodcasts. If we reach our $2,000 a month goal, we will begin a bonus show where we review every single Dragon Ball movie, OVA, video special, and live action film. That includes Dragon Ball Evolution. In addition to helping to fund that show, you get many benefits like commentary tracks for cursed content, our special Cursed Content by Committee show, which happens once a month, extended pitches for armchair devs, and other bonuses. That is patreon.com/gbpodcast.
And we're actually $142 away from this goal. Incredibly close.
It's dangerously close.
Dangerously close.
Just one little push, and we will produce a Dragon Ball show that will make every single person on the internet upset in one way or another.
It's not even like we're trying to do that.
Zeon.
But mostly Hail Zeon. It's not even like we're trying to do that. It's just going to happen.
We're going to leave no stone unturned. You think it's like, you expect the cooler movie. You expect Broly. But do you expect that special video they included in Dragon Ball Z Raging Blast 2 for the Xbox?
Do you expect me to go into the deep web and try to find the original VHS version that they remade for the Raging Blast thing?
Oh my god.
That function in a Dragon's Lair type like FMV video game from the late 80s?
Oh man. Was that one of the ones where it's like a VHS game? Where like you...
Yeah, it was like
it had a Famicom version, it had like a PC Engine version. It's planned to eradicate the Saiyans.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of this before. I haven't actually seen it myself, though.
Has the iconic Hachiyak in it.
A Gesundheit.
The iconic
he's related to Baby.
Yes, and that Baby ripped everything about that OVA off.
Oh, well, that's neat.
I was gonna say, isn't this well before GT happened? How could he be related to Baby? Okay, he just stole it. I got it.
Here's what happened. The villain of that, they just copied. They went, hey, bruh, let me copy your homework, but change it a little bit, and then changed it to they changed Dr. Raichi and Hachiyak to whatever the fucking guy's name in GT is, and baby.
Guys,
So they literally didn't change anything except
guys,
name. Got it.
You can't upset Xeon now. You gotta wait until we hit our $2,000 goal on the Patreon.
There is always potential for this. It's not purposeful. It just happens.
Okay, let's go back to Dragon Ball Fighters. Sony, what is wrong with you?
A lot. They're going through a lot.
Why every time do I have to go into your store? And this isn't 1945 anymore. I shouldn't have to go to the store to pick up my fucking order, especially not when
Yeah, you
it's
should.
digital.
Don't be lazy.
This isn't just Janemba. I bought because I'm a stooge. I bought Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle.
Raw.
I bought the deluxe edition when it was on sale for Evo. You still have to go in and fucking manually download all the character packs.
Yeah.
Just give me the fucking characters.
Yeah, it's a dumb contrivance that they
Why
have.
can't it just be check to see if there's any add-on content available that you own that you don't have? Okay, automatically download. Why isn't that a basic feature of your platform? And today the PSN was acting up. I had to go into my library. I had to go to the store, purchase them, which they're free because I already own them.
Raw.
They wouldn't download. I had to go into library, go to the game, go into add-ons for the game, and download them from there. You get paid too much a month for your service to be this shitty, Sony.
What are you talking about? They've made great updates. We finally got rid of the search feature that's a rotary telephone.
That's a rotary phone.
We got rid of that. We
It
now have a
took
normal
them
keyboard.
5 years.
They finally looked at what the Japanese PSN always had and went, well, what if we do that?
Well, the amazing thing is they completely redesigned the PlayStation Store this generation to look like that. And they ruined the PlayStation Store experience on the PS3 just to do it. Like,
Yep.
And it took this long for them to be like, holy shit, guys, did you know this sucks? Yeah, we know you ruined it for no reason 5 years ago. And they're like, oh, whoops.
But the other game I played, because Dan, Bob, and KZ have been trapped in collectathon hell.
Heaven, actually.
I was like, well, I'll play a collectathon game. I'll just play Spyro 3 since I didn't play it when the Reignited trilogy came out because people were like, oh, it's buggy as shit. And I'm like, well, I'll wait for it to be patched. And they patched it, and they also gave me an option to turn off the nauseating motion blur.
Oh, that's always nice.
So I was like, great. Spyro 3 is better than Spyro 1, maybe, but not as good as Spyro 2. Because Spyro 3 is like, there's like, here's 5 additional playable characters, and they either don't meaningfully change the gameplay or are bad. And I'm like, oh, okay. Do you want to play the worst twin stick shooter in history? I'm like, not really. Do I have to do it to get 100% completion? Yes. Oh, okay. I'll do that then.
No.
And in the last world, they just gave up and changed all of their gameplay modes again to emulate other video games. Like there's a monkey with a laser gun, and he has like a bad third-person shooting gameplay. In the last world, they're just like, it's Doom. It's Doom now.
What?
Because
What?
yeah, they change. You go into the
Suddenly
monkey
Doom.
zone because the way it works is you go through a level and there's like a purple portal with a picture of the character's face on the sign. Like, okay, when you go in this, you'll be playing as them. So in his first level, it's a bit like a bad third-person shooter. In this level, you go in and it switches to first person with his gun sticking out the front of your view, and your health bar changes to a 100. Like it just becomes 100. You still only have 3 hits. It goes down in increments of 33, but it changes to 100. And I'm like, what? And then you do like a kangaroo ladies stage later, and it becomes it's just a 2D platformer when before it wasn't. I'm like, did you just give up?
Okay, I gotta know.
Yeah.
I guess you did.
In this Doom level, do you just do you have a time limit, and are you searching for things in an area that you don't have any map for?
No.
Okay.
You shoot literal shit with eyeballs
It's
on
not.
it.
Spyro 3 is the most Banjo-Tooie-esque of the Spyro games, but it's not nearly on that level.
So it's good.
I mean, the Spyro games are good. I have no idea how you would make a modern one because I feel like people would like get upset at that gameplay loop nowadays. It's just go into the level, collect all the gems and other things, leave the level, go to the next level, do it again.
I mean,
and there's not like big modifications of the gameplay.
I don't know.
Which I feel like people would want nowadays.
I feel like that collection was relatively well received, and a lot of it, like as Bob and I keep stressing, isn't even to people who necessarily are our age, you know? It's like younger people who experienced Skylanders first.
I mean, I feel like they're going to make another because the quality of those assets in that game are insane. That game is ridiculously gorgeous looking, to the point it takes a minute and a half to load a level. So I can't see them just like dumpstering all those assets. At least not Spyro's.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like
it's good. It just suffers from like, this is our third game on the platform. How do we make it different? A bunch of different playable characters. There is a whack-a-mole mini game that you have to do using the Yeti character, but the camera is so close to him you can't see shit. And while you're playing whack-a-mole, other guys are popping up from the ground too, and you instantly lose if you hit one of them, and they're 4 times the size of a mole. And that's one of those things like they must have recreated this exactly how it was on PS1.
Right. Like they followed the blueprint pretty closely.
As far as I can tell, there's only 2 major changes they made to these games from the original, from what I was told. One is if you tap R1 or L2 on the ground, Spyro will do like a dodge roll, and that wasn't in 1, it was only in 2 and 3, but they just gave it to him in all of them. Yeah. Because they're obviously all. And the second is if you click in the left stick, your Firefly, which is your health meter, there's a Firefly that spirals around Spyro, and its color tells you how many hits you have. Yeah. If you click in the left stick, it points to the nearest gems. Meaning if you have 499 out of 500 gems, you're not just doomed. You just click in the stick and he will point you in the direction of it.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. Wow.
If you haven't played that collection, that's coming out on PC and Switch next month, that's a good chance to play it.
Yeah, I've been actually really looking forward to playing that collection. We just haven't had time to do a stream, but I feel like maybe later this month would be an appropriate time.
You could do a stream in Spyro September and directly compare it to Banjo and upset people.
It's Spyro Into Madness.
Yes, the title.
Have Skylanders in it.
The title is Spyro Into Madness when we do a themed thing.
You know, there are ways to imitate those Skylander toys. So if you wanted to look at every single Skylander toy,
there we go, Bob.
There's ways to do that without buying them.
we get that iPhone app or whatever to emulate the NFC.
Yeah, I mean,
oh god,
we don't have room for that much plastic in here.
But that's everything for me. So it's time to. I was gonna say you have to address the fat bear shape in the room.
What are you talking about?
Well, real quick before that, because I'm delaying. Anyways, Bob and I, our brilliant solution, which I think would be literally the funniest shit in the world, is we announce we're doing Spyro Into Madness, and we talk about how we want to do a comprehensive review of the series, and we just post our P.O. box and tell people to send in their Skylanders, so we end up with 700 of some unwanted piece of shit.
It's going to be really funny because you're going to have at least 2 people who send you Disney Infinity figures.
What do you mean Jafar isn't a Skylander?
Hey, you'll get that cool duo Skylander amiibo Bowser.
He'll just send us 100 freaking stitches from
also
Lilo and
Lego
Stitch.
Dimensions.
Hey man, Tosh would not be happier if we ended up with 100 stitches.
What's the Star Fox one that failed?
Oh, we already have that.
Starlink.
Yeah,
Starlink.
Oh, there's not additional Starlink toys?
I mean, there are, but we have the important one, which is Star Fox.
And all the toys, apparently, you don't even need them. You can just get that stuff in game without the toy.
Yeah, you can get it digitally.
I was given like review code for the Starlink Digital Deluxe they had, and then I saw people saying that's bad. I was like, why is it bad? Digital Deluxe has more content than if you get the most expensive set physical, because they give you more ships.
Yeah, that's really
That would
awkward,
irritate the
but
shit out of me.
That's really awkward that they did that to their retail partners and customers, but the whole thing's a sham, so I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, I mean, they had to tear the spine of Toys to Life out of that thing before they launched it.
Right.
Yeah, otherwise, it failed even worse.
But yeah, because of us doing AuGuhuhst, Bob and I are raring to go to try out. Get it? Rare. Anyways,
Raring to go. Yeah,
other 3D platformers like Spyro.
Sorry, I didn't mean to gaslight you.
Yeah, you should know better than to bring up things I said 5 seconds ago. You're thinking a different host on GigaBoots. Thank you. Anyways, we really are interested in checking out like the Spyro games, Gex, maybe, just other stuff. There was a meme going around in the
It's
GigaBoots.
tail time, baby.
Clock says party
Shut
time.
the fuck up. Is this Bob or Field? It's like, no, he can have a downbeat counter case. He'll go, it's tail time. It blocks with his tail.
Yeah, no, that's a brilliant idea. Bob's very smart.
Yeah, it'd be really good. You wrap this tail around him and show the enemy. It'll be good. I'm waiting for it. And you get the alternate costume where
he might also be able to say, he might be able to use his great quote from Gex 3, I think, where it's like, now that's what I call getting some tail.
Yes.
Yeah, Blakely.
Yeah, no, looking forward to that. I there was a really good meme in the GigaBoots Discord for a while of we're just going to transition directly from AuGuhuhst into AuGex. I fucking lost it.
That sounds hilarious, but I just felt my bones.
Yeah, tell me about it. So we've streamed over 40 hours this week? Yeah, because we did Diddy Kong Racing.
It's been at least 55 hours so far.
Diddy Kong Racing took...
No, it's been 60.
7 hours.
7. So between that and Banjo-Kazooie, that's 20 hours and 40 minutes. Then you had 21 hours with Banjo-Tooie. So that... Oh... And then it's another 18 hours with Oh.
Guys, I just
Kazooie
looked it
was
up
like,
real quick.
Kazooie was like 15 or 16.
Oh, I'm staring right at it. Those are all the numbers according to Twitch.
We could have beat...
Okay.
What's up, Bob?
We could have beaten every Gex game in the time it took to beat Tooie.
Are you fucking real?
Yeah.
Of course he is.
All 3 Gex games.
Now I have a
Gex
question,
has
Bob.
no content or soul.
Bob,
What's
I have a
up?
question. In Gex, from your experience, do you go to do something and then the quest says, no, come back as this other person? And when you come back as that other person, does it immediately say, good, now come back as the first person so that way we can talk about you?
I don't remember it happening even once.
Oh, weird. Okay, maybe that's why it's shorter.
It's a bad game then.
Banjo-Tooie...
That you might have to do that in Gex 3 Deep Cover Gecko because it introduces vehicles and transformations.
Oh man, vehicles and transformations. That's a really great way to expand your game.
But that one's 6.5 hours. It's shorter than the Gex Enter the
Oh my
Gecko.
fucking god, we've been streaming for 60 hours this week?
We got another stream tomorrow.
At what point is Twitch like, no, you're going to die? Go
Never.
away.
No, they don't care.
This is their business model. They want us to.
I don't know if you
Kill
understand
yourself.
this, but the Twitch algorithm basically tells you to do this. Because otherwise people drop off.
Never stop.
Full-time streamers
okay.
burn out bad.
Yeah, I imagine. I know that most of them stream like 6-7 hours a day, every single day.
I would rather do this once every few months than stream 7 hours a day. Ugh. Disgusting. Anyway, hey Bob, let's have a conversation about Banjo.
Can I talk about what I played before, other than Banjo first?
Yeah, sure. Let's do that. What have you played other
I'm
than Banjo?
surprised. I am shocked you even want to approach the Banjo conversation. Do you really want this?
Bob, you
Don't
played
you want a break?
Look,
Bob,
you played something?
I played Soul Calibur because Cassandra came out, and I was like, she's one of my favorite characters.
Oh, that's cool.
I'll boot this up and play a little bit. That's why I played through like your arcade mode. She is notably, in previous games, basically almost a clone of Sophitia.
Yes.
So it's surprising they brought her back, but they gave her some new moves, and she does some cool stuff where she charges shield with lightning, and then she gets special moves based off that.
Oh, that's cool.
It's really neat stuff, and I want to play more of it. I have nowhere near good enough of that game to say if she's competitively balanced or anything like that, but
Yeah.
it's cool to see her back in the game.
See, the important thing, Bob?
What's up?
This is important, Bob.
Okay, a different
Can she
important
still
thing's coming up.
execute you with her ass?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. She's a very powerful lady.
A shame they removed the instant kills, because that was the funniest instant kill in history.
Oh.
Yeah, she's got the throw where she throws them down, then sits on them.
If you have never seen it, look up Soul Calibur 4 Cassandra Critical Finish.
Yeah, her critical art is no longer that. It is a pretty cool thing where she like hits them with the lightning shield and then's confused of why it worked.
They did another round table to talk about what it should be in this game, and everyone's like, yeah, if lightning like struck her sword and she did a cool thing, and then one guy's like, yeah, that would be cool, but wouldn't it be funny if, I don't know, she just sat on their face? No?
So, Dan, what was the important thing you were going to ask
I'm
me?
showing that
I
because I
was
don't know if KZ has ever
Much
seen
fun
it.
for Grow.
I was going to say the important thing, Bob, isn't that you're, competitively good at fighting games. It's that you're just honest about your experience. Oh my God, it really is as bad as the joke I just made. I just watched that video of Soul Calibur 4's critical finish for her. Oh my God.
Wow. Okay.
You're
Excuse me.
allergic.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what's important. That you're just, straight up like, I enjoyed this character, blah, blah, blah. Not this character's competitive, blah, blah, blah. Because fucking who knows? I mean, a lot of the time, even the experts obviously don't know until further experimentation comes out.
Right, even that takes like months plus.
Exactly. You got to bash out that metagame. Hit scan.
You got
This
it,
is
Dan.
the stance.
Iframes. The stand.
Frame traps.
Frame traps. Bob, did you play anything else?
No, that was it. Other than the darkness, I downloaded the character for Samurai Showdown. Hadn't been able to play it yet.
Okay, which character?
Rimururu.
Oh,
God
yeah.
damn it.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That was delayed.
She's got ice powers.
Mm-hmm.
I played her a decent bit in the old Samurai Showdown, so I'm excited to see how she goes.
Cool. I saw those costumes they did for Mega Man for Street Fighter V, and that actually got me really hyped. Like the Guts Manus Balrog thing.
Yeah, no, those are really good.
That
I'm
is
tempted
fucking
to throw
incredible.
$10 to be like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Give me Ryu.
You
and
see that
look like
virtual
Mega
one?
Man.
No, what? They have an outfit that makes one of them look like Virgil?
Yes. Let me see if I can find the specific character it is.
That's really
Because they have
neat.
Dante and Nero,
Cody.
but I didn't see a Virgil.
Oh, that's funny.
It's for let me find the image real quick. But I do like whenever they do the crossover ones. Here it is.
Oh, man.
That actually came out? Oh, I didn't see that.
It's coming up soon.
Okay.
What if Virgil had the fattest thighs ever?
Well, that need to be in Street Fighter.
Leg day, Dante. Leg day.
This is where Virgil was like, fuck the amulet, I'm just gonna lift. Like, you skipped leg day, Dante. You cannot hope to defeat me.
He shatters Yamato in his size.
He's named your reason because he's your reason to lift. Okay. We gotta talk about it, Bob.
What's up?
We gotta talk about
We
it.
gotta talk about the bear.
Yeah.
We gotta talk about AuGuhuhst
Okay.
and our experience with AuGuhuhst. So for those
It's
who
been
don't
great.
For those who don't know, I played Banjo-Kazooie back in the day. A friend owned a copy, and I was like, it's all right. It doesn't it doesn't feel that tight, kind of like Donkey Kong 64 doesn't feel that tight, so I never needed a copy myself, but even still, through relatives just not caring, I eventually got my own copy of the game, and then even then still never played it. Bob, did you ever play it back in the day?
I don't think I ever touched it. Maybe like once or twice, just because some friend was playing. I was like, sure, I'll try this out, but I hardly remember.
You saw it in Blockbuster and you're like, I'm not going to rent a game with a furry bear on it. So we played through, for those who don't know, Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, and Banjo Nuts and Bolts. And tomorrow, the day after this recording, which is Friday, the 9th, we're going to be playing assuming we don't die before then, because this is a lethal amount of GuHuhst. We're going to be playing the Game Boy Advance game and also Banjo Pilot, which is the fact that game exists still befuddles me.
Yes.
But yeah, so we played through Banjo-Kazooie, and I feel like roughly our experience with the original Banjo-Kazooie was that maybe it doesn't feel very tight, and the hub world's a bit of a nightmare, but the levels themselves are fine until you hit the part where it's like, I'm going to make the game difficult. And the way it makes the game difficult on the first level of the 2 final levels that are total ball busters is there are 30 windows on this ship, 3 of them open, hit them all.
I thought you were going to talk about the toll booth, my favorite part.
No, the toll booth's funny because they ran out of reasons for you to stuff eggs into things too.
No, they didn't. That was a good reason.
So now the holes literally just say toll. Whereas other things throughout the game were like, oh, I need eggs for this, I need eggs for that. This shipyard has toll bridges, and they take eggs as the payment for the toll. It just felt like I was going insane during that stream at that point.
Pretty ambitious.
And then the final level.
Now maybe inside those holes are the swollest motherfuckers ever, and they're like, eggs, I gotta have 140 grams of protein today, bruh.
Yeah,
I'll take those eggs.
Yeah, that turns out K. Rool's minions are on the other side. It's those ripped ass crocodiles you see throughout Donkey Kong Country.
Yes.
But yeah, the final level, for those who don't know, is an insanely vertical tree. Which, if you don't know what Banjo-Kazooie is, it's a 3D platformer, collectathon, as they maybe besmirchingly call them. It's used as a derogatory, generally speaking. But so you gotta get all the notes. You gotta get all the jiggies. Absolutely, the Jinjos are nice. You gotta get these things. The final level is the most vertically oriented level in the game, with very thin,
easy to dodge enemies.
Very thin platforms, holes all around it, and you have to get very close to proc the hole because there's an enemy inside that'll pop out and knock you off the tree. The level split into 4 seasons. Many of the jiggies involve you setting up events in 1 season or 2 seasons and finally being able to get it in that 3rd or 4th season. It is the most insane
You can see
padding.
The kernel of Banjo-Tooie being planted in that final stage.
Yeah. Which is weird because I never would have expected that. I never would have expected that was the direction for the next game. So yeah, and then Banjo-Kazooie doesn't really have any good boss fights. It has one major one with Grunty at the end, but aside from that, it doesn't really have any major boss fights.
You didn't like the boss fight where you turn invincible and walk into it, and that's the boss fight?
No, not really.
That's my favorite one.
Which one is that? Is that the boxes or is that something else?
That's Boom Box. It's a box of
when
TNT.
we were doing the game show segment with Bob, he ran out of invincibility, so he had to use 80 eggs, and it still wasn't enough, so then he had to start pecking at it.
Yeah, because they make that big egg
it
do
was also
basically
the game
nothing.
show one, so it was timed.
So, Bob, I feel like I've talked about everything I want to talk about with Kazooie. How about you? You have any specific things?
Yeah, Bob.
I can't imagine the reason someone would like this other than nostalgia. Like, that's the only thing. This is just a blatantly, it controls bad, moving feels awful, collecting feels bad because everything looks bigger than it is. Like you jump right next to a note, you jump through the JPEG it's spinning.
Oh yeah,
and you don't get it.
Yeah, I didn't talk about that. A lot of the collectibles are 2D elements, and the collision detection is the perfect center of it. So you can run through the side of an object and just not get it.
Bob kept missing when he was swimming underwater trying to get notes.
Yeah, Bob, you missed by going through the fucking image.
The music is all the same
By the way,
song.
everybody,
what was that?
Bob is going to say a lot of things about these games.
A lot of lies.
He's being tactful. No matter how horribly brutal he gets, he's being tactful. Where you have to go listen to those supercuts that KZ is making, where Bob says things like, Banjo-Kazooie creepypasta doesn't work because I prefer them all to die.
Well, there's a reason for that. If they're dead, they won't keep making annoying sounds and drive him insane.
True. I need to make a supercut where he gets mad that water exists in video games. So yeah.
I still don't get this meme, KZ. You keep saying that's why he doesn't like these games, even though he's
I didn't say that's why he dislikes these games. I'm pointing out a part of the stream.
Tooie, I did get to the point.
I think KZ is poking fun at the fact Bob gets so frustrated with these games that every feature of them becomes a negative to him.
Every detail that comes up at all, he takes the negative stance on. He swam in a small pool of water that was empty, and he went, "That's fucking empty." This was the second time he went in there. He might have collected something in the past, but he's forgotten, so he may just be getting mad at nothing.
So,
you see, when each stage traps you in it for over an hour, and there's almost nothing in them except for a task list that requires you to do 12 things to get one thing. Yeah, I get tired. I can't stand it.
Engagement. Ambition.
Before we started Banjo-Tooie, we joked about, they're going to have it so you get pieces of Jinjos. Sorry, pieces of Jiggies.
Yeah, we were talking about, just to fuck with us, the only way to crank shit up from, what was it? What's the name of it? TikTok Woods? What's the name of the final area?
Yeah, Click Clock Wood. Yeah.
Click Clock. I thought that's what the name was, but I was like, that doesn't actually make sense as a name now that I'm thinking about it. But anyways, we were like, the next game, they're just going to give you fourths of a Jiggy. That's all you get. You don't even get whole Jiggies anymore. Okay, go ahead, Bob.
And then by the end of playing 2, I was like, that would have been better. I would have felt rewarded at any point. Instead, you do literally a huge amount of things getting no reward.
Yeah.
And then they give you a Jiggy at the end of it, and it's just like, dude, this took 50 minutes. I'm not going to thank you for this.
Because, the thing with Banjo-Tooie...
You got to get Banjo to talk first. Only Banjo.
The thing in Banjo-Tooie, a lot of what they do is, we would spend the first 40 minutes in a world just setting up a bunch of different quests, doing the first part of this quest line and then that quest line and then that quest line. Some of the Jiggies are elaborate to the point of a train goes through all the worlds. You need to prepare 3 different children from 3 different worlds, or actually it's 2 different worlds, to go to multiple different worlds, to have Mumbo to do things to them, to then return them to their mother to get a single Jiggy across the entire game. It's
much fun for Mumbo.
It's just one Jiggy.
The way I can describe it is, if you ever
that
played,
is insane.
If you ever played Ocarina of Time, there's the one trade quest, which is really cool because one big trade quest out the entire game where you trade and get the big Goron sword.
Mm-hmm.
Every Jiggy is that.
Yeah, by the end of the game, it feels like every Jiggy is the most elaborate Zelda fetch quest.
It's the big Goron sword, except instead of the big Goron sword, you get 50 rupees.
Yeah. You get 20 rupees. Let's be honest.
So yeah, Banjo-Tooie, the major changes with it, it felt a little bit tighter to control compared to Kazooie, thank God. The graphics looked a lot better, which was surprising because it was only 2 years difference. But that thing came out in 2000, right?
Yeah.
So it came out the same year as the PS2, but on N64. But it looks really nice, honestly. It looks very nice. The hub world makes sense now and also makes it feel more like a world. It builds out the sense of this world that these levels are connected to, vaguely.
Thing.
Whereas in the first one, Gruntilda's lair has the most fucking insane structure in human history, and I want someone to map it out, like connect all the pieces in 3D space so I can see how impossible it is.
It's like this shadow door opens up into the beach.
It's like this not even that part, just the hub. Because the hub is like, a pipeline goes through here, and I guess it stops 2 feet from there because there's a hallway if you go through that other door.
My favorite is when you hit the water level button, so that when you went to another area, you went through the door, you walked through it, came out of it underwater by 20 feet.
That was really bizarre. I didn't
can't
expect
believe that Dark Souls 2 took so much inspiration from Banjo-Tooie.
Yeah. But yeah, Banjo-Tooie, I felt like it improved a lot of things, but when every Jiggy became, hey, we're not going to give you simple Jiggies to do up front in any levels. They're all going to be quest line type things, and all of them are going to take a lot of setup up front. That felt awful to play.
The best one.
It felt so rough.
The best one. You went to Grunty Industries, and it's like you can't get inside the building, which is where 90% of the world is. You have to go around the building, hit a train switch to open up the train gate. Then you have to leave the world, go to a train station inside another world, and ride the train into the train station of Grunty Industries to sneak in.
Yeah, so that was the first, 10 minutes of that level. A moment
it's a really cool idea, but it was at 4 a.m., so you two were corpsing bad.
But that's not even the thing. Like, everyone wants to portray this as, you do these long streams so you get tired of games. We were fucking thrilled by nuts and bolts the whole way through. Tooie, by this point, for context, the beginning of Tooie almost picks up directly from the level of putting you through the ringer with bullshit to get a single Jiggy that Kazooie ends on. The level before Grunty Industries took an hour and a half. Grunty Industries took 2.5 hours? 3? How long did that end up taking? It was.
I forget. I think it was 3.5.
It was fucking nuts.
I feel like the difference is a lot of people look at the stuff you have to do in there and go, okay, whatever, and you find it more of an egregious problem. Some people just don't see the problem at all. They just go, oh yeah, that is a bit of a waste of time, but whatever, I'm doing it. But when you see the dinosaur can be big and small, you just.
Well, that's the thing, Casey. Nothing's wrong with the set of kitchen knives, but when you're taped to the chair in someone's basement and you see them lay out the knives, you see what they're going to do with them. Nothing's wrong with the knife. The problem is that the person's going to fucking stab you with it. It's like, oh, he made me into a big dinosaur. In and of itself, neat idea. I know
these are
that
some of my favorite stream experiences, because every time I see a text go up, I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And then I see you guys getting so mad, I'm like, are they aliens? Like, I don't understand.
Because, Casey, I found out that I could go to Mumbo's hut to walk across the map to turn Wigma's Ligma, which is the best shit to come out of the stream. When I could turn Wumba big and then walk back to turn back into Banjo-Kazooie and then walk over to her to be turned into a big dinosaur so I could actually go do a quest. That's a fucking problem.
Is it a problem? Why is it a problem?
There was a part of that stream where here's what had happened. Dan would go to the place and find out he needed to be in one of the 42 different forms to get into the place. So he'd go back, he'd turn into that form and get through one door, one obstacle. Let's say one obstacle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's correct.
Then he'd reach almost immediately. He'd hit another obstacle. He had to be a different form.
Yeah.
And that was like 5 deep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, Grunty Industries has one of those that is literally 6 forms deep. So you have to open a door as this character to do a thing as this character that sets up for you to do another thing as this character that you then need to race, change characters, hit this button, race, change characters, do this thing, and then you can get a Jiggy. But you don't get it yet. You don't get it yet. You get the opportunity after all of this to fight the boss to get a Jiggy.
The Jiggy doesn't even appear at the boss room.
There was one where a timer turned on.
Yes, it's true.
And you said audibly, oh, fuck, really? And had to run back in somewhere and change.
That was Kazooie. That was Kazooie for that one. Let me describe the one that Dan was mentioning, where you're in Grunty Industries, and at some point in the level, you've reached a higher point, and you find a platform with a Mumbo thing on it above it, and there's screws, and you ground pound, and it makes you spin, so you undo the screws, and it makes the Mumbo platform fall down. And then Dan would go there later as a washing machine to hit a red switch, and he tried to hit it, but a contraption near him was a giant magnet. It pulled him away, so he couldn't reach the switch. So he had to leave, become Mumbo, and then go to the Mumbo pad, which activates an EMP, which turns off the magnet. And now he has 90 seconds to run back to the Mumbo thing, remove Mumbo, go to Wumba, turn into the washing machine, hit the switch before the magnet turns back on. And doing that opens the door that he can then travel into a room to fight a boss.
And then
when he beat the boss, they didn't give him the Jiggy. They said, I hid my Jiggy over there. You gotta go find it.
And what KZ's brushing over is the 20 minutes of punching a brick wall just to get to this part of the level. It's
true.
like
in hindsight, you probably should have started from the beginning of the building and did the batteries, but we ignored them for over an hour and a half.
I feel like, the footage is out there. People can figure out whether or not we just did nothing for an hour and a half. That's up to their own judgment. But this game, Tooie, feels like
Fantastic.
You integrated fetch quests into the water temple.
So this is an 8-hour. An 8-hour game at most is stretched like very brutally. Like
It's a nice 7 out of 10.
where you just walk 12 more times than you need to do anything.
And by the end,
Which is insane. Like, they made a game that has functionally roughly the same amount of content as Banjo-Kazooie.
they're about.
But then we're like, it's going to be twice as long.
Yeah. I mean, there was one part where, and this is late in the game, and I know Rare has a habit of making jokes like this. Like, this was an intentional, haha, isn't it funny? You walk up and you talk to the guy who gives you your moves, and for no real reason, the guy who gives you your moves won't give you the moves if a character he doesn't like is present. He'll go, and he does this the whole game leading up to this, okay? He goes, I don't have any use for dumb bears. Get rid of that dumb bear. And I'll be like, get out of here, bird. This one's for the bear. So you got to run across the level, split, come back, and then you get to learn the move to hopefully let you do a thing. At this point, late in the game, the dude said to Bob, get out of here, you flea-ridden, you flea bag. We don't need you here. I'm going to teach the other one this move. He goes, splits, leaves Banjo, comes back as the bird, and then the dude yells at the bird, no, I was talking about you. I need the bear.
Yeah, he says no flea bags, and we're like, birds get fleas?
But they don't. They mostly get mites based on, like, everything I know about chickens. So it's like, why
I
would
Googled it. It said rarely.
Exactly!
Yeah, no, that was definitely done maliciously. Like every single piece of this game.
Oh, rarely, like the developer of the game.
But yeah, so by the end of Banjo-Tooie, Bob and I were not thrilled. The entire game comes off as the most cynical fucking padding I've ever dealt with in a fucking video game. And I looked at Bob. Soul
Sounds like you're just bitter.
Soul sucked out of my face. Bitter over what? The game sucking? Like, what am I supposed to be bitter over? That's so dumb. Like,
I just never understand the it's cynical because it's long thing. I don't think they cynically made it long.
KZ, listen to yourself. It's long because I have to go. Like, you heard Field describe that. You described part of it yourself. That's not a lot of content. That's rerunning through a hallway 6 times.
Yeah, but I feel like you're coming at it like they made it long on purpose to be assholes when I don't think that was the main.
No, they made it long on purpose because people like having a long gameplay time. That was definitely still in the era of video games where nobody appreciated brevity. Like, you're literally sitting here saying it's a better game because it's longer. It's a longer game because you run up and down the same hallway 6 times.
I'm not saying it's a better game because it's longer.
So I look at Bob with my soul sucked out of my fucking face, becoming stoned, and I go, I honestly, this isn't something I've never said before in my life. I would honestly play any Ubisoft game over this because at the end of the day, they may not feel great. They may have a little bit of dumb stories depending on which one you're playing. But at the end of the day,
Their quest lines don't involve doing shitloads of stuff to get any modicum of progress. You get rewards that tie into skills or abilities that immediately have an impact on your gameplay. You don't have to spend forever in a level just to get to the point of completing a Jiggy line. That is I never thought I would have. Like I as I said before, I played Kazooie. I thought it was all right. I thought it was fine. I don't think it's as good as some of the other 3D platformers that gen, so I never cared for it. Tooie is just fucking Jesus. But I'm ready to wrap up the Tooie talk. Bob, do you want to say anything before we move to?
Not really. Like it's literally one of the worst games I've put time into. Like
because a rational person would stop, right?
I would never put that much time into that. Never. I would rather play any Assassin's Creed game, like you were saying. I'd rather play any modern gen, like random collecting, like random.
True, they would tell you where to go in those modern games.
And that was the problem, Bob. Not that we had to do 6 obnoxious things in a row. We didn't know where to go was the problem.
I literally just pointed out one aspect, and you're like, see, KZ's presenting is like this is the only problem. You're so mad at the Banjo games, you're misrepresenting me once again.
No, it's every time Bob's pointing out a thing about it, you're defending the game, you're pointing out, you're like, they wouldn't tell you where to go, as though that's the reason. That's not the reason. We've explained it multiple times. Having a sense of progress is really important.
Those streams generally devolve to complaining about something every 2 minutes. So I went, you know what, I'll just run bits at the same time, because really, what else am I going to do? Just listen to the bitching like every 2 minutes? I gotta make some fun out of it.
Yeah, but we're not in the streams right now. We're in this podcast, and that's what you did just now. But it's fine.
I'm doing it the same way here.
But Bob, you were gonna.
I don't even have anything else to say about it. It's just a bad video game.
So after Tooie, what I was left with the impression of, right, is that if you made a game more like Kazooie, in my opinion, that felt better, I feel like I would like that game. Now, when I played Yooka-Laylee a billion years ago, whenever the fuck that thing crawled out of the hole in the earth it came from, I felt like, yeah, this seems kind of like Banjo-Kazooie. I don't know. I haven't played that game in forever. But this feels a little bit better than I remember that feeling. And obviously it runs better because every N64 game just about runs at butt frames per second. So part of me wants to believe at some level that I'll enjoy Yooka-Laylee more, and I don't know. I haven't played it. Unfortunately, it went back up to full retail price right as we escaped one of these streams, and I'm not paying $40 for Yooka-Laylee in 2019.
You want to buy like the 2D one? their Donkey Kong Country equivalent when that comes out?
Nah, because I can look at the gameplay footage and tell it doesn't feel as tight as those Donkey Kong games, which I relatively enjoy those.
It'll be better than Soul Seraph at least.
The highest of bars.
It is. It's a very high bar on our list.
Mm-hmm. Soul Seraph is the flag at the top of our flagpole here at GigaBoots Podcast Network. A sure sign of quality. Hopefully, what is the name of that one again? Does anyone remember the name of the 2D one? If I remember, it still doesn't have a date, if I remember correctly.
Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair.
See, that doesn't even... It sounds like Yooka-Laylee and the shit you want to deal with. That's funny as hell.
I am terrified that you and Bob are going to play Yooka-Laylee and are going to be like, everybody was that common trope that gets brought up when a spiritual successor comes out is this it was always bad.
But see, here's the thing, and I need to be clear on this. People play Mighty Number 9 and they're like, and this happened. So don't think I'm making this up. It's insane. But it was in a lot of the coverage back then. People were like, Mighty Number 9's bad, and this proves platformers were never good. Like side-scrolling platformers were just bad. And it's like, no, the Mega Man games are really solid. There are plenty of 2D platformers that are really good. I feel the same way here. Like if Yooka-Laylee is bad, I'll just be like,
okay, these are bad. It's not that 3D platformers are bad. Just
the people from Rare never knew how to make one. It's sad.
No, they make really good ones.
No, they don't. They only make pirate games now.
Yar.
That's a real bummer.
I have to wonder how many old people are at Rare still.
I'm going to guess somewhere between 0 and none.
No, there are some. I watched behind the scenes for God, what the fuck is the pirate game's name? Sea of Thieves. I watched the behind the scenes and they had multiple people that were there from the older days, and I'm like, holy shit. Do you have to wear like do you have to wear a hazmat suit to survive in Rare that long? I don't.
No, you just gotta like Xbox avatars.
Okay. Well, you know. Funny thing, Wumba in Banjo Nuts and Bolts looks like an Xbox avatar. Like, at some point in playing...
Oh my god!
At some point in playing the game, I realized...
so off to me, and it's that.
Yeah, no, she just straight up looks like those. And admittedly, those came out after Nuts and Bolts. But still, you look at it and you're like, you're just you're a literal me. You're like a me that they put hair on and pretended was an original character design.
You know, it makes sense because I think she's like the only human in that. So it's like, well, the rest of these are like pigs and hippos and
and who would want to be an animal as their avatar? Rare said nervously.
They're like, oh fuck, we gotta put her in because you know it's like the character from Tooie. You might as well like just put her in. She is the lovely Wumba, Mumbo's hated rival who got really big.
Much fun for Mumbo. That strategy guide has some weird shit in it.
I'm just imagining that in some cut in Nuts and Bolts, she just like backflips and shows you the bottom of her shoe, like bam.
Were you there when they went to the Logbox 720 and they said Humba Wumba as the ultimate gamer girl?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So here's the thing about Nuts and Bolts. The thing they did leading up to releasing that game is bullshit. They never should have pretended it was another normal Banjo game. They should have been upfront that it was a very gimmicky, very different sort of game, and that it was not a normal 3D platformer. All the marketing was that. They're like, it's finally, they're coming back. This is a brand new adventure. It's going to be so good. And then in the, 6 months leading up to launch, that's when they finally dropped the other shoe, and they were like, yeah, it's all vehicle stuff. So between that and the story mode just openly being malicious at the beginning.
It's like Brutal Legend.
It's like Brutal... you know?
It's cool. It's going to be like Psychonauts. Never mind. It's actually...
It's like some weird strategy game. It's not
Xbox in the era where they were so unaware they didn't realize that Rare was making fun of them the entire time.
I don't understand how they couldn't. They probably were just like, yeah, it's clearly making fun of us, but it's funny, right? Not just openly maliciously angry at us for something we've done, right? But yeah, at the end of the day, I'm the type of person where a loose feeling platformer that doesn't have a lot of joyous moments for me in it. It has a lot of mundane rote tasks for me to carry out to progress in it, is less enjoyable than a weird systems-based, weird, finicky game. So Banjo Nuts and Bolts was really enjoyable to me and Bob just because you would get a new mission, it'd want you to do this specific thing, and then you could custom tailor a craft to it. And it basically became like a stupid BattleBot simulator where we just kept going, what's the dumbest way we can solve this problem that'll be a ton of fun? It was weirdly, I didn't expect to like that game. I passed up on it back in the day because everything about the opening and the trailers leading up to it, how malicious towards the player, and like
Nintendo.
Here's Microsoft beating us up. Also, the Nintendo thing with the blowing up the Mario statue. All of that just felt awful and gross and shitty. So I never once even played it before this stream. Heading into the stream, my heart sunk into my stomach. I felt ill because I was like, Bob, I was wrong. I thought this game was shorter. I just looked it up. This shit is 17, 18 hours long. We're dead. We're just fucked.
the first few hours were rough. It took you like 5 or 6 hours because that's when I corpsed fully and died. You started getting a handle on it, at least to building stuff, like when you made dipshit in the buoys.
Yeah, dipshit in the buoys.
Yeah, because at first, that part where there was one where you had to press a bunch of buttons with high weight.
Mm-hmm.
I was dead.
Yeah. I mean,
it was rough.
I mean,
but when I came back toward the end, it was a great time because you had figured out all the building the ship stuff, and you could go to maximum goof mode.
I mean, yeah, the vehicle stuff, like, the handling of your vehicle is dependent on how you built the vehicle and the parts you get to build it with. So, of course, at the beginning of the game, when you don't have as good of parts, it doesn't feel great. And I never liked that sort of thing. I think that's a really bad idea to just be like, oh, the gameplay experience is bad at first because it'll get better later when you level up. Usually that ends really poorly. But eventually, after we got used to the vehicle creator, which is... I'm going to be fucking honest, one of the worst 3D build-a-thing interfaces in a game I've had to engage with, because like none of the buttons are set up in a way where it just feels instantly intuitive.
Like Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, no, I told Bob.
The gummy ship shit makes more sense. I got confused watching you build this.
Yeah, the gummy ship controls and everything feel better than this, and it's really bizarre, especially in 3. But, that game came out 11 years later, so...
Yeah.
That would be like comparing the 3D controls and Banjo Nuts and Bolts to, I don't know, Star Fox on the Super Nintendo? So, obviously, 11 years is a long time to do a cross comparison. But either way, Banjo Nuts and Bolts, once I fully got used to, like, and I think it took, like, I don't know, 3 hours, Bob? Like, once we hit that mark, it just became really fun throughout the whole thing. The chat was having fun. We were having fun because every mission was a new, a new reason to make
bigger, better, faster.
Yeah.
After we got used to all the weird references to, oh man, grabbed by the ghoulies is trash. Let's put it in every trash can we can find.
Yeah, no, that's so dumb. Why is the writing in that game so fucking bottom? Yeah. It's rock fucking bottom.
Like we just skipped every dialogue eventually, but the game was fun.
I was still skimming it, but like, every mission is a setup for a loose excuse for the mission and comedy, quote, quote. But yeah, they were like, grabbed by the ghoulies, bombed. Let's put it in every trash can in the game, including the dumpster truck you drive around. And it's like, guys, what is the message here? Why do you think this is a good joke? Like, could you imagine? It's the equivalent of making a joke as, man, we sure do make shitty games, huh? Like, what kind of joke is that? Respect the people who supported you for $50 to get grabbed by the ghoulies. I don't get it.
I mean, Rare's like self-deprecating and like humor is like a mixed bag, where I like the jokes they do in some of their early stuff in the N64 era. But then you go like their scribes column they used to do on their website that constantly made fun of people asking, hey, can you make a new Killer Instinct or a Jet Force Gemini or literally any other IP? And then they just make fun of it.
Yeah, see, that's not okay. I also really don't. I mean, the Banjo Nuts and Bolts experience writing-wise was kind of forecast by Kazooie. At the end of Banjo-Tooie, you walk up to another person to get a quest line, which is what I'm calling them now, because they're so involved. But you walk up to them, and Kazooie literally goes, Banjo, don't talk to them. They're going to want us to do at least 6 different things. Like, she said something along the lines of, like, Banjo, they're just going to tell us all of their problems, and then we're going to have to solve every single one of them. And I was like, Kazooie, please.
Right, it's like, you guys know.
This is
you
hard enough.
This
please.
Joke.
Please.
Don't you love that? That makes the flaw fine when you point out the flaw, but then still make you do it.
It makes it really funny. I laugh.
It's like if at the end of Mighty Number 9 somebody hit a button and then Beck literally became a waving arm inflatable tube man, because that's what he fucking looks like. If he just started doing the flapping in the wind animation, that would make the model okay, right, Bob?
No. It might explain how many polygons it has, but not much else.
For those who don't know, Beck's model has an egregious amount of polygons. Like, it makes no fucking sense. I've it with like a lot of other then popular, like there is no Sonic model that has as many polygons as Beck.
Yeah, I feel like we've mentioned that before, of just how absurd they put into that, which was a horrible idea.
That's why it runs so well.
So I, before this podcast, I out of curiosity wanted to look at footage of Banjo-Tooie on N64 to see how it runs.
Yeah.
You would not have survived.
Yeah, no, I know that those games ran worse than, because we were playing those on the Xbox One X, and also Banjo Nuts and Bolts, same deal. We were playing it on the Xbox One X, and it ran better and it loaded much, much faster.
Tooie was at a constant 20.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Like it was, it looked a lot rougher.
Yeah, it's an ambitious 64 game.
Yeah,
kind of expected.
You're
it's
right.
a really
Quite
good looking
ambitious.
game. It's a really good looking game. But yeah, I didn't expect to like Banjo Nuts and Bolts based on everything.
I 100% expected you to like that one more, because you seemed really opposed to Banjo. I'm like, you know what? They probably won't like these platformers, but they'll probably like Nuts and Bolts because it's a perfectly fine game.
I mean,
it doesn't fit in the Banjo mold, but that doesn't make it any less of a fine game.
yeah, I mean, it could have been a
So long as you
fine.
ignore the text.
Yeah, the story in that is like, I'm okay with the larger structure of the story, but all the personal notes of like, I'm taking away your moves because no one likes platformers, and also we suck and the games we make suck, and we're gonna make you do this. Like, that's not great. But
How about when you talk to the Lord of Games and he says, we're doing it, we're making a new Battletoads, a new Killer Instinct, and you won't believe that. That's too unbelievable.
I went too far with my jape. He literally said his jape. That made me. It made me think Mr. Field wrote it. What a hilarious jape I have committed.
Or as he would go, what a hilarious jape.
Okay.
Best part of that stream, almost for me, aside from the ending part, was you trying to get jiggies from one side of the map to the other, and they kept falling into the water and disappearing.
Yeah, and in true Banjo-Kazooie fashion, the next thing we unlocked was a floating ability to easily get that across the body of water. Like, I feel like that was the last time the game was bad. Like, from then until the end of it, it was delightful.
That was just funny. Like, because unlike the stuff in Banjo-Tooie where you're like, God, this stupid fucking... Just you getting hit off something and falling and then everything's bad. There it's like, oh, look at this goofy physics bullshit. All right, what if I try to float on below a box or something?
Yeah, I still think the separating the overworld craft from the craft you can make is really weird. I get that they did it so that way they can progression gate me, so I can't fly to somewhere.
Should have made something different. Should have made like a more distinct overworld vehicle that looks nothing like the one you do in the actual worlds.
Yeah.
That way you wouldn't get confused that, yes, you can change your craft when you're in the worlds themselves. Like,
but unfortunately, Banjo,
communication's
you
real
can't
bad.
drive your Lego mobiles here in Overworld. You can only drive your Oldsmobile. Sponsored by Samsung.
Volkswagen.
Volkswagen. But yeah, Bob, so like the fun of Banjo Nuts and Bolts ended up being the same fun that I get from Tecmo's Deception, which is a game series where you set up like a death trap for
I've seen those.
people entering your lair. Those games are really fun, and this ended up being the same thing of like, hey, build this really hilarious way to accomplish this goal. To the point of we made a helicopter and then made a giant like lattice on the bottom of it, a giant brick lattice, and then we detached it and dropped it on a bunch of dominoes we needed to knock over. We had
You got
ejector
the chat
seats and
rooting
things.
for you for like the first time. It was great.
It was a great moment near the end of the stream. I encourage people to check that out whenever the archive's up or whatever.
You were losing it when I said, yeah, someone in chat just said, fuck you, Bob. Skip your own turn. Lose.
So Dan can do his absolutely insane bullshit. Which, it's delightful, and I don't want to spoil it. It's one of the best moments on a stream ever. Go watch the last 2.5 hours. If you don't watch the rest, just go watch the last 2.5 hours. It's so
That's
good.
what the supercut of Nuts and Bolts is going to be. It's pretty much just going to be that. Because it's at least 3 hours of footage to look through.
Yeah. So, Bob, did you want to say anything before we move on?
I guess there's not much. I mean, it's fun just to kind of make vehicles that go stupidly fast. Like you get
every time it's like you're gonna be in a race, we're like, okay, and we put the biggest engines in the world on it, slam into the wall on the far side before our opponents are even a foot from the starting line.
like it doesn't limit you. Like you get a new engine, you don't have to take your old engines out. You just keep stacking them on. So at the end, we had like a one big engine, one medium engine, one small engine, just all strapped into it.
Yeah,
it's just. Yeah,
but by the end of the game, we were doing a 6x3x2 grid of fucking interconnected engines and fuel tanks.
You saved it and you're like, I got it. And Bob's like, oh, you're done? No, I've just encased my cocoon of engines and a seat.
Yep, that's great. And it was a scuba seat.
It was a really good seat. The fact that Rare doesn't give a shit most of the time when they're building things actually worked out really well here. Just, you have no limits on what you're doing here. Just if you have the parts,
yeah,
you can build some bullshit.
Yeah, people were telling us about some tech in that game that we never got to pull off of, like, if you put a deployable wing underneath your vehicle, you can do completely insane wind sails, so you don't even need propellers. Like, there were so many small things like that of just this deep knowledge they had. And, you know, we actually got contacted by a lot of people, quite a few people who were like, I'm really glad you guys got to play Nuts and Bolts. I've been saying for years, it's a really enjoyable game. Obviously, it's not those other Banjo-Kazooie games, and obviously the plot is maybe too sardonic towards Rare's past work. Because, you know, as an artist, if you insult what you do, you insult the people who like it, and I feel like they went too deep on that.
I don't even think the jokes are very good for most of it, which I also think is a bit of a problem. Like, I could get over it. Like, whatever. It's more Banjo. I can deal with it if you have the same wit, and you don't have the same wit for most of it.
But yeah, that's I'm optimistic about the Gruntilda's Revenge, the Game Boy Advance one we're playing tomorrow. I'm optimistic about it. It looks like a really high quality Game Boy Advance game, to be honest. I haven't played it, so I have no idea how it's actually going to feel to play, but it looks fine. And Banjo Pilot's probably going to be a tire fire.
Oh, 100%.
At least that's only like an hour-long tower fire.
I will say Rare's output on the GBA was pretty good. Like, it was neat that Rare just kept putting out GBA content even after being bought out by Microsoft. And it was all decent, like the DKC3, the Donkey Kong Country 3 port that added an entire other world was good.
Yeah.
The colors didn't look as good. The sound effects were weaker, but...
Yeah, it's kind of hard to make your Game Boy Advance game match up to the Super Nintendo, like, especially on the sound side. Like, that's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah, excited for that. Shocked I liked Banjo Nuts and Bolts. I didn't see Banjo-Tooie going that way. I think I covered everything. Everyone's talked about everything they played, so I think we're ready to talk about the news.
No, I thought we were going to end.
Oh.
We talked so much.
Oh, okay.
But we couldn't end without addressing the fucking Podlords.
Well, that's the first bit of news. Guess what, motherfucker? We need to thank the Podlords.
Oh, shit.
Now, unfortunately for Dan, Patreon has gone to Wumba and transformed into a different form, as it does every fucking week.
I feel like that's what the person who changes their shit to, like, the Wii U... They're just going to Humba Wumba.
The UX designer at Patreon's like, Ikabokum, Ikabokum, Ikabokum.
Do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do, Ikabokum.
We are 3 Podlords away from hitting this Dragon Ball goal.
Yeah, that's stunning. Thank you all for your support. But we need just a little bit more energy.
I'm just saying, if one of you wants to drop $50 and name yourself on Patreon PyCon, I feel like we could get something going.
You know what? I didn't want to spoil the Banjo stuff during the Banjo talk of this, but the Podlords are making me. Here we go.
Oh no.
The Podlords.
Oh shit, I know exactly what
for the GigaBoots Podcast Network are Danny Richardson,
Notgak, E. Lee Broyles, Dipshit, Crimson, Grunty Drowned, Dank Mormons, Redblade 27, Jucifer, Suzushiro, Matty Mo, Heaven's Evidence, Zavik and Kazooie, Emperor
Prince
Zero,
for them.
and Mitzi. Thank you very much to our podlords. Hashtag Grunty Drowned.
Thank you, Podlords.
Thank you, Podlords.
Thank you, Podlords.
Thank you, dipshit. Thanks, dipshit. Which dipshit is it? Is that dipshit from fucking Final Fantasy VII?
Is it Dipshit and the Wide Boys? Dipshit and the Wings?
Dipshit and the big boys?
Dipshit and the Buoys?
It could be dipshit and the buoys. We don't know. I have a piece of news, very important. By the time you hear this, DuckTales Remastered has been Thanos'd out of existence. You can no longer buy it digitally, and every physical copy has become inordinately expensive. It already shot up, even by now.
You should probably go grab that Disney Afternoon collection too, because that's probably going to go within a year or so.
Yeah, especially if you want a physical copy. Like, if they made physicals of that, I would absolutely buy it now. Just because, yeah.
I can't remember. I think they did for Switch, but nothing else.
Yeah, but this is the unfortunate nature of the digital future. But, you know, at least...
How the digital future has no problems, and nothing at all.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not like the push towards streaming will make this even worse, where they can just take your shit away and you have absolutely no recourse ever, and don't even have a way to even try to preserve it.
Why would you say that? Aren't you being a little naive?
I feel like Google actually already came out and said, even if they change the contract... Yeah, that is the correct reaction. Google already came out and said, don't worry, if people try to take the game off the service, you'll still own it. And it's like, okay, I guess.
You just won't be able to play it.
No one will be able to.
You just won't be able to play it. You'll get that. We'll take that icon out of your library.
Here's the save
We're
file.
already getting companies trying to weasel out of making it available for people who already owned it. I have zero faith Google will keep that shit running
100%. Yeah.
for people who bought it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same. Stadia comes off as the biggest Games for Windows Live thing since Games for Windows Live. At some point in time, this shit's just gonna disappear, and then you'll own jack shit. Bob, tell me some good news.
Indivisible finally got a release date, October 8th.
Yay!
Thank God.
This is the new game from
fantastic trailer.
New game from the guys who made Skullgirls, Lab Zero.
Yeah, they've been working on this for 4 years.
Yeah. The new trailer has a whole bunch of the anime opening done by Trigger.
Oh, yeah.
The key animator, I believe, from Little Witch Academia.
Also, yay.
Looks real nice.
Yeah, it does. That game looks really good. Every time I see it, it looks better.
Yeah, it's if people don't know, it's basically like a Valkyrie Profile.
Valkyrie Profile. It's a PS1 RPG, and for those who haven't played that, basically it's a sort of action combat RPG where you enter the battle and each team member is set to a face button. You can do combos, juggling, and just hit them to do certain abilities. It's really good. And also, like, when you're playing through the level, it's kind of like a Metroidvania. It's a 2D side-scroller with beautiful art and 3D environments. 2D characters. Very nice hand-drawn. And you use your abilities to get around the environment, which also then play into your equipment in battles, at least so far, like in the demo. It's looking really promising. The music's done by the Secret of Mana person?
Yes, the guy who did Secret of Mana.
Yasunori Mitsuda, I believe.
It's good. Did he do that? I know he did Chrono Trigger.
Oh, yeah, I'm probably thinking Chrono Trigger, but let me look it up real quick. What were you going to say, Phil?
I was going to say, who knows if Indivisible will be able to outdo the other game like it that came out this year, Super Neptunia RPG.
I think it can do all right.
Right. A few years ago, Tri-Ace, the original creators of Valkyrie Profile, made a new game in that style, and it was very disappointing. But there was a demo for Indivisible that
Did
did a year.
they?
Yeah, what was that one
What
called?
game
Was it
was
called
that?
Valkyrie Drive?
No, it was.
It was
what
like
it called?
a completely different named thing. I know exactly.
Oh, right. It has some absurdly dumb name.
Yeah, and it had like the most anime cover you could think of. Oh my God.
I'm pulling it up.
Okay.
But yeah, KZ was right about the composer. They did Chrono Trigger and then a bunch of other stuff for Square. And then a bunch of other stuff across a bunch of different companies.
I believe you're thinking of Exist Archive, the other side of the sky.
Yes.
That is it.
That game is really bad.
Oh,
It's
Came
I
out
not
in
remember
2015 in
asking
Japan,
Bob once if this
2016
was
over
any
here.
good for a sale, and he laughed at me.
That sounds right.
Yeah, no, that's accurate. It's always good to get some good news up front.
Yeah.
What else do you got, Bob?
The new game from the creators of Bunny Must Die
Oh,
is coming out next year.
you mean Platine de Positifu?
Yes, that one. That's the name of
Excuse
the
me?
creator.
Did you sneeze?
Oh no, when you boot up the games, it goes Platine de Positifu.
Oh, okay.
And the new game's called Super Zangairu.
Zongura?
Gangura.
Zongura?
Gura. It's,
Yeah, there you go. KZ nailed it. Why can't you?
I don't think there's going to be so much gulping in that name.
No, the gulping is implied. Japanese is a very gulping-filled language.
The gulp is silent.
But it comes out next year on PS4, Switch, and Vita.
What?
Yeah.
It's apparently a full
How?
What?
Oh,
it's a full remake of a game they did a long time ago, apparently. But you play as a maid in this castle filled with death traps, and you use a spike ball as your weapon. And it's very much like a classic Vania
Oh, shit.
sort of style. The old game, like, it looks rough,
She
but
was
it
in a
has, like,
maid outfit and she got big.
No, that's Bunny Must Die.
And then you see her armpits and it's really good.
I mean, you can already see them in Bunny Must Die. She's just wearing a leotard.
Yeah, no.
there's no new ground here, Casey. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, that guy's the fucking pervert, but he doesn't care, so why should I care about saying it?
But yeah, this is brand new art for all of it. Looks like a full recreation of the game, not like just a remaster of the old one or anything. It's like a new game.
Yeah,
in that style.
I'm looking at the old one right now, and first of all, I can see things they directly reused in Bunny Must Die, like the spikes that are basically swords.
Yep. I think this is great. I actually really like most of the games made by Platine de Positif.
I love Bunny Must Die. That game's fantastic.
Yeah, Bunny Must Die is great. Hitogata Hapa is great. I like Gun Deadline, which is another shmup. Like the last two I listed were shmups. I think the Gundamonium collection is also getting removed from Steam. Let me see if that happened yet.
Oh, man.
The dude's making, as I understand it, he's possibly making deals with other people to bring their games to platforms.
Yeah, I'd love to see that because all these games came over to the PS3 already.
Yes.
But they haven't hit PS4 except
And
for Bunny Must Die, and not in America even for that one.
And the PS3 port is rough.
Yeah.
Okay. It may be. No, it's already gone. Gundamonium Recollection has gone off of Steam.
Sad.
Yeah, I think that means Bunny Must Die has also gone off of Steam. That's unfortunate. But there's a really good version of Bunny Must Die on the PS4 for anyone who's curious. It's different translation from the PC version, maybe not as faithful per se, but yeah, it's a good version of that game. It adds widescreen support, so I'm very excited for this. I've actually liked a lot of games from these people. If you're curious about a Bunny Must Die, go look up our review.
The last news story I've got is that Grandia collection we talked about a few weeks ago was the awful waifu upscaling. It's coming out
Raw?
like next week. It's August 16th.
God damn it.
Yeah. And
I'm sure they'll fix it by next week.
right? Like the worst part of this studio that's releasing this stuff, there is literally zero social media activity from them. There's no way of even knowing if they've heard a single thing people are saying. They just put out a tweet once every couple months. Like this one just out of nowhere, the game comes out in a couple weeks. That's it.
The only hope is that somebody can unfuck the PC version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the name of that guy who famously does all the really good?
Durante.
Durante, yeah. We should try to do some crowdfunding to hire Durante.
He has
runs
his own
the
company
service.
now, so I don't know what they're working on, but some game is going to be like, here's our immaculate PC port.
And then you're going to find out he was involved.
No, I mean, he flat out said, I'm starting this company. We just don't know what they're working on.
Yeah. And I think more people should employ him for sure.
The only dev that I've seen do it is Xseed. When they were doing the ports of Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2, they were like, hey, Durante, can you make this fucking sick? And he's like, yes, let me include a feature no other PC game has ever had that is every PC game should have, which is when you boot that game, you can set in the options. It boots, then immediately boots your most recent save. It shows none of the developer like title cards and doesn't even show the title screen.
Well, it's like they say, choosy moms choose Durante.
That's psychotic, but amazing.
He fixed the original Dark Souls PC port by himself.
Yeah. The man's a legend. I'm not looking forward to that, Bob.
No. And I'm probably going to have to buy it just to know.
It's so disappointing. I would love an excuse to replay Grandia, and this has disqualified itself from being that with these bad filters.
Yep. I've been waiting forever to have that on a new platform and have a decent reason to replay it.
Doesn't even have
Not
scan
now.
lines.
Yeah, could at least have a
Can you
CRT
imagine?
bloom.
They're like, yes, we have an option for scan lines with our fucked up upscaled sprites. It'll look great.
For some reason,
God,
They
I
meant to be
expect it.
seen.
for some reason, when Field did that voice, I assumed it was like a fucking albatross or seagull that looks like the fucking Vlasic motherfucker. That's who's working on
I
this
thought
game.
it was me trying to do his Patreon.
Oh man, that's a rabbit hole, all right.
Yep.
Field's impersonating two other people impersonating each other impersonating him. KZ, what do you got for news?
All right, so there was a brand new Pokemon Sword and Shield trailer. So there's new info about the game out. So I guess we'll take it point by point. We have 2 new rivals. Bring your rival count to 3. They introduced, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Bead?
I guess it would either be that or Bede.
Yeah. Yeah, so you got Bead, who's the smug white-haired dude who seems to just be the asshole rival of the game.
Who seems ominous and was personally sponsored by the head of FIFA. So,
Nothing bad could happen with that, right?
There was like, I know there was a 4chan post like in May that was talking about this game, and without going into the other stuff they said that hasn't been revealed yet because I don't see the point, they did mention that like everyone who enters the Pokemon League has to get sponsored, like it's a real sport, which I think is hilarious. So apparently this dude was sponsored by like the head of the organization.
by Loveless, the head of FIFA.
Mm-hmm. And
You're the good play.
and the other rival they introduced being Marnie, who is this like this cute girl.
Adorable punk girl.
Mm-hmm.
Although I guess the proper term would be chav.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I'm so fucking glad we are no longer blighted by your rival character is the player character you didn't pick.
Yeah. We have 3 rivals that are not that.
I'm so glad we escaped that.
I don't know that I particularly hate that.
It also
I mean,
makes sense that they're fleshing out the rivals a little bit more in this game, because this game is so much more focused on the Pokemon League challenge that they're like, yeah, we'll just have a bunch of rivals in this game, and they're all really focused on it, and some of them are nice and some of them aren't.
I mean, this is what they did in Sun and Moon 2. You had Hao, who I constantly forget exists because he's unmemorable, and then you had Gladion, who was like the mean rival. So I guess that's just their pattern now, and I think it's a pretty good pattern.
I hardly thought of him as the rival guy just because he was a part of Team Skull in that.
yeah, I felt like Sun and Moon didn't really have a solid rival because your other guy who's just way too much of just your buddy, and then
Yes.
That's been the rivals for a while though.
I know.
Until
He seemed too stupid to be a rival.
but Barry exists.
It's like
Yeah,
he
true.
wasn't good either.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's good either, but I like the rivals they've shown so far. Like, even what seems to be your dumb, happy, nice rival in this is, I want to be a champion because my brother is the current one right now. So they introduced the new villain team, which is going to be Team Yell, and they explained that they are all big super fans of Marnie, one of your rivals.
It's so funny they're soccer hooligans. I think that's great. They even gave the big dude one a vuvuzela in reference to that World Cup where that was all you could hear.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's pretty great that that's their theme.
The fact that their description says their entire motivation is to make sure that she wins, so anytime you have to fight a group of grunts or they've blocked your path, it's specifically to make sure you can't beat her.
I think that's really funny.
What if
I think
Marnie's actually the main villain?
I hope she hates the shit out of these guys. So they introduced a new mechanic called Pokey Jobs, where basically there will be a list of help wanted things like you need to go to this farm or you need to lift a bunch of stuff. So you pick Pokemon that are well suited for whatever job. It takes a certain amount of time, and if you pick the right Pokemon, you do a good job. You get a bunch of experience out of it.
That's a neat idea.
And this comes from the box, or how do you access this?
You just you select your I just saw a bunch of screenshots of it, so I imagine it's some menu, and then you can select things from your box. Because Let's Go let you access your box from a menu even when you're outside. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, they did that.
Wouldn't be surprised if they at least have something there. And this is a good way to train that is less brain dead than the daycare system in the older games. Because now
the daycare system was kind of dumb, all things considered.
Mm-hmm. And
this is a much better
and a lot of
solution,
games.
I think
a lot of games now have the send this thing out on a mission, like Xenoblade 2 has that with mercenary missions where you'd send your extra party members and blades out.
Yeah,
on
it feels
something.
like there was this weird. I can't imagine it'll be like real timed like so many of them, but it's so weird. It's like, let's take this thing from phone games. So now you send your guys out, and there's a real time timer until they get back.
It's going to be that exactly. Like that's the way this sort of mechanic turns up whenever it's put in.
I need to find the screenshot I saw of it because it looked like it was like half a day to do this one.
Even Smash
And
Bros.
stuff.
When they put that mechanic in, that's how it worked.
Yeah, that was the other game I was thinking of that had the timer based system in a recent Nintendo thing. But I think it's a decent enough idea to implement something like that because try and get you to use your boxed Pokemon as much as possible.
I hope they can faint, and then you do a Nuzlocke with it with PM.
Yeah, that'd be.
Why would
there's
if that were the case, you would just never send them.
They fail and they come back fainted.
Yeah, and then that's what
I
You have
see.
to
would
heal them
never
at the
do it at that
Pokemon
point.
Center.
there is like a slider that lets you choose how long to do the job. It looks like because here's like a screenshot of the Pokejobs thing there.
What is this? A something fucking a Sakurai game?
Yeah, and then you select stuff that's either like in your party or stuff from your box to like send them out.
Yeah, okay, this makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I thought that was a decent inclusion.
Oh no, they teleported to the new Super Mario Brothers dimension.
Bah. So they've introduced with Marnie, she has a special Pokemon, the newest form-changing Pokemon, Morpeko. This thing is, I believe it's Dark Electric, and it has two forms, Full Belly Mode and Hangry Mode.
It's great.
Which is really great. Its signature move is Aura Wheel.
Do you have to buy Snickers to fix the hangry mode?
Yes, you have to buy Snickers. It's the only way to solve it.
Yes. When it's full, its Aura Wheel attack is like a little hamster wheel electric thing. But when it's hangry, it's a dark attack.
Hey mom, I'm hang.
It's always rough when you're hang. I think he's cute. He has pockets.
Oh no.
He's a lot better than their last attempt at making a second Pikachu, which was that fucking the fuck is that thing's name? It looks like Pikachu, but it's fat and more mouse-like.
I mean, their last one was literally Mimikyu, wasn't it?
Yeah, their last one was Mimikyu. I'm trying to think of what other one.
Yeah,
that was.
but that was Dedenne or Dedenne from.
I thought you were talking about Emolga.
Yeah, I was gonna say Emolga also went for that. There have been so many also Pikachus. It's kind of nuts.
Dedenne is like so explicit to me though.
Every gen has one that's way too explicitly, we wanted to make Pikachu.
Mm-hmm.
At least last gen they were just like, let's just make a cuter Raichu. That'll be ours. We'll make a weird Raichu that surfs on his tail.
I mean, I can see why you think that because it's an electric mouse.
Last gen also had the Mimikyu, didn't it?
Yeah, the last gen also had the Mimikyu.
But I mean, I think the Mimikyu is really cool. That's my favorite of the. It's not Pikachus.
Yeah, the Mimikyu is great, but I don't count that as being the same thing because it doesn't have it wears a Pikachu costume, so people will like it, and not it's also an electric mouse that has those red circles because we want to recreate Pikachu.
So they introduced regional variants for this gen of Pokemon. They are the Galarian.
I'm glad
forms.
they're still doing that. I like those.
That was the thing I wanted the most out of this. Of just Alolan forms was a good idea. They should do it, and they're expanding upon it, confirming that some Pokemon in this region, not only are they different in their looks for the variants, they also get new evolutions. So they showed
that
off.
Is real cool.
They showed off the Galarian Zigzagoon line, which becomes normal dark, and gave it a new form, Obstagoon.
The Facts and Logic Pokemon.
The Mr. Feel Pokemon. It's really good.
So, I don't understand why this thing is Gene Simmons. Gene Simmons has nothing to do with Britain.
Gene Simmons commented on the Pokemon.
That's funny. That's great.
Newsweek asked for a statement. He's like, Pokemon's been a big part of our household ever since it came out, and it's good to see the Pokemon company give a cool send up to Kiss.
Pokemon company's like, who's Kiss?
No, they're not.
Well, that's what their PR will say, even though they clearly don't.
I don't. I'm entertaining.
Power Man 5000 did not at all inspire this Pokemon game.
I don't know. Here's my theory. Okay, Kiss was only tangentially or barely relevant to my generation. There are probably younger artists than me working on the Pokemon designs right now. It is technically possible that a Japanese person made this and then they're like, why does it look like Gene Simmons? They're like, who?
I feel like you might have a point if it wasn't for the fact its arms are crossed and its tongue is hanging out.
I know.
I don't.
It's just the funniest shit if that ended up being the case.
My problem is Dan's willing to say, no, they didn't do this. Also, Dan, so you see Grant Kirkhope ripped off the Wrigley Spearmint Doublemint Gum commercial jingle when creating the Banjo-Kazooie theme song.
See, this is ludicrous. Everyone knows the entire Banjo-Kazooie soundtrack is based on one public domain song from the 1900s. Why would he rip off a bubblegum commercial when he's such a font of creativity? So that thing was just a bit. I was kidding.
You were very much enjoying it.
Yeah, no. The thought of fucking anyone in the industry hearing a gum commercial and going, oh fuck, I need this. I need this now. This is perfect for our swamp level.
Still waiting for the Mentos commercial to show up in something.
Now, will Obstagoon's son also rip off Bleach? That's the most important question.
Yes.
No, it'll rip off Digimon. I like this new line of Pokemon. I think they look really cool. I always like Zigzagoon.
Do you think anybody at GameStop, not GameStop, a Game Freak got fucking beat because they were like, here's Galarian wheezing, and then like an executive saw all the art of him as a bong that materialized instantly?
Oh man,
yeah,
it's real good.
Just like, it's a stovetop hat plus a smokestack, and it's like, no, it's a bong. It's even green.
Yeah, you either get Doug Dimmadome jokes or you get bong.
Somebody drew the trainer girl, the protagonist girl version, and the champion just high as shit with a wheezing in their lap.
Yeah. I actually think their usage of this Galarian wheezing's clever. It's poison fairy because it like intakes and shoots out all the poison for attacks. But the smokestack like purifies the poison. Makes it all nice, which is why it's a fairy type.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really neat.
Yeah, I couldn't even Google this thing without it coming up with a Doug Dimmadome joke.
Doug Dimmadome trended that morning. It was really good.
That is really good.
Also, I found the picture, the tweet of the bong.
Jesus Christ.
Her eyes really sell it.
It is so good.
It's incredibly good. I'm looking forward to what other Galarian forms they end up getting. And lastly, because it's a hot button issue for our podcast, because we are wondering what that Galar Pokedex is. It's currently at 19 Pokemon if you don't count the starters having evolutions. Which will then raise it to 20. I'm
gonna go drown myself.
25.
23.
I'm gonna go drown myself.
23.
This is.
An epic amount of Pokemon in this Pokemon game.
It's okay. Real quick question about that number.
Yep.
That number doesn't include any evolutions beyond the starter's initial evolutions, right?
It only includes things they've shown us in trailers so far. So I didn't count. If we counted the starters fully evolving,
that
it would be at
more.
25 because that's 2 per.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it'd be 20.
Is this counting, like, do we count Alolan, or sorry, not Alolan form?
Yeah, we're counting Galarian forms.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to count those. They're a different design.
At the same time, they're just...
I'm going to pull up the generation Pokemon. I'm just going to say them out loud. Because I feel like that'll make it easier.
I don't think we need to.
Yeah, I mean, that's 19 Pokemon.
We're good.
We're good.
Don't worry
We got
about
the
it.
bird. We got John.
It's good,
It's
KZ.
okay.
Move on.
You asked for details.
I asked one question.
You did, and then you tried to doubt me.
What? No, I didn't.
KZ, tell me about King of Fighters.
Please
King
do.
of Fighters 15 is in development.
Good. I hope it's more like 98. That's the best one.
I'm a fan of 2000.
Okay, boomer.
I'm a fan of 2000 and 2001. There's a certain feel with them that I like, and a certain character that
I get
that
it.
isn't
His name is Phil.
Yep, owned.
Dan, only illiterate rubes use the term game feel. The proper term for a video essayist such as myself is kinesthetics.
Oh,
Thank you.
Did you know that, Bob?
No.
That's a thing.
But yeah, I really, like, after seeing Samurai Showdown, I'm excited to see what they can do graphics-wise with the new King of Fighters.
Yeah, I love King of Fighters. I'm excited for a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a hype logo reveal and everything.
With the power of next gen.
Yeah.
Honestly, one of the things I'm most excited for about next gen is fighting games not having to load as much in between matches.
Yeah, no, it'll be insane to be back.
God,
like,
that'll be so good.
Yeah.
it'll be back
I
to-
remember when at the start of the gen, some big tournament player was like, "Okay, so I'm trying to, the only way to get matches at a reasonable pace in Street Fighter V is if I search for matches on PS4 and PC at the same time, and this time I accidentally got myself." And he had like a picture of his two screens.
It's hilarious.
So before the King of Fighters thing, they gave the Samurai Showdown like DLC roadmap thing, and then said, "Yeah, we're having a new character every month, and September's you're getting another one." They just said in September you're getting an additional character they had not announced.
Yeah, and he's free
prior.
for everybody. He's not even just for free for the guys who got the season pass. They're like, here's a free character for everybody.
That's cool.
Yeah, they're adding Shizumaru.
Do this again later for Iroha.
Who?
Iroha.
What
Don't
was that?
look her up. Iroha.
No, what the context for her?
Oh, a Samurai Showdown.
No, she's the first character of the next season. We're talking about
Yeah,
the character
they're doing
that in September.
Yeah,
Yeah, the new character
season
for
2 DLC coming in 2020.
Oh, I didn't even know that I didn't even see that they confirmed a season 2 for Samurai Showdown.
Yeah, they confirmed season 2.
They said right at the end, by the way, we're doing a season 2 in 2020, and here are the characters. She was the most voted character
Yeah, I
to get
bet.
in via Dengeki PlayStation or some shit.
But yeah, Hisame is the character coming out in September. That's actually my favorite Samurai Showdown character. I'm super excited he got in. It's like this kid who's basically straight from Ranma one half. He's Ryoka. He's got his big steel umbrella, but they also gave him a sword.
Oh god, you're right. I can see that.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
So we got a lot of Evo news. They did the Bamco came up. I think it was Okubo came in who's behind all the Soul Calibur stuff, and they did the he made a joke that his shit didn't leak because all the Street Fighter stuff leaked, so that was funny. So as a result, Evo had to shit it and farted, so the trailer barely ran and was horribly desynced and choppy to reveal Cassandra, which is already out, and Bob played some of that. And then he did a speech of like he really appreciated all the support, but it's time to say goodbye, and implied that the game bombed hard enough that they're not going to do anything more. And then the trailer surprised people with season 2 of DLC being confirmed with some major updates to the game, and they're adding Haomaru from Samurai Showdown as one of the 4 DLC characters.
Yeah, I thought it sold okay. It would have been weird to me if it sold like so badly that they just quit supporting it.
I feel like when they made the statements of like, this needs to sell well or the series is dead, so people kind of went,
Yeah.
Him like teeing that up made it seem a little like this isn't that much of a shock if they stopped.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of salted the earth with a lot of the Soul Calibur entries,
Mm-hmm.
But this new
I
one's
don't
good.
remember anyone like me being especially fond of it except after 2, except for 3 a little bit.
3, in my opinion, was like the peak of the series, just from a feel and roster standpoint. And then 4 was a nightmare. 5 was bad for really stupid reasons. And then 6 is really
Only
good.
value 4 has is that you can play as Darth Vader, Starkiller, and Yoda.
Raw.
Yeah, I think people still, 4 was still received somewhat well because they had those crossover characters, and
Darth Icky.
Yeah.
and it came out early enough to people still were excited.
Mm-hmm.
They had the weird sort of hidden characters where they got like a manga artist to design a character, but then it was a secret character. Like the guy who did Sergeant Frog just like repurposed one of those characters into Soul Calibur 4.
Weird. But yeah, 5 really just upset people.
Yeah, 5 was definitely like unambiguously
Wasn't it one of those
disliked.
all the characters you like are gone, here's the new generation?
Yeah.
None of them are likable.
Some of them are literally just the same old moveset, but now a character you hate.
Yeah, that has the only time that I think that like sort of worked was Street Fighter 3, and then they still took multiple iterations for that to get to a point people really liked.
I think the only time it actually worked was Tekken 3. Like people love
Tekken 3. I
Tekken
forgot
3.
about Tekken 3.
Yeah, with Street Fighter 3, they literally were going all in on it's all new characters, and then it was received poorly in playtesting, so then they smashed in some old characters right before the initial launch, which is hilarious.
We still got some real Chad characters like Alex and Urien and Makoto though.
Yeah, no, I play as Alex, and I also play as Makoto.
But then we also got characters like fucking Necro.
I was terrified you were going to say something bad about Q, and I was
No,
going to
Q's great. Q's one of the winners. But
Yeah.
then you have dudes like Necro and what's the fucking dude that's just like a mass?
I think that is Necro, isn't it?
No, Necro is the bald guy.
No,
No, that's,
Necro,
like
the
Necro's
point
the white
with the point.
blob.
I'm thinking of 12.
Oh, okay.
I really want to like Sean. I tried to play him the other day. I was like, why are you just bad?
Yeah, he's not great. He's a good concept, but he's not well executed.
I want to try to get good at Sean, and also Bob. I've come to a decision.
What's up?
We're never gonna. One, no one's gonna buy Street Fighter 3 and play it with us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Two,
I own it.
we should buy an arcade board.
I mean, maybe.
I don't know. Arcade board shit's scary.
Yeah, it is.
Because it's expensive and you need to make sure you know what you're doing, or otherwise you fry the thing that you bought.
Did they take down the? Did they ever add the 360 arcade version of Third Strike to backwards compatibility?
I don't think they did.
Did they even hit the 360? I know they hit PS3.
Yeah, I'm pretty
It hit
sure.
360 and had a really good netcode, and so
Yeah,
there was
it
a
did.
push.
Yeah, it was good.
for when they started that backwards compatibility, like bring Third Strike to Xbox One, and then I don't know if they ever did.
I don't think so, but
I'm checking it out now. No, there doesn't seem to be anything implying it's back compat.
What a that
It is a shame.
Travis.
That's
What
a
a
legitimate
shame.
shame. That's a legitimate shame.
they ported their even better netcode from the Darkstalkers collection back to that because so many people asked and they didn't fucking bring it forward. That's upsetting.
Yeah.
it's just frustrating that we don't have like Capcom just hiring the same guys again and just getting them to port that port.
It's the best thing they ever made. What's next on the news?
All right, so Janemba got his trailer for Dragon Ball Fighters. He's already out at this point, but they naturally showed Gogeta in the reveal, since, you know, the other part of Fusion Reborn, and showed off a little bit of his gameplay. He's coming soon, and they definitely are doing their best to recreate shots and the look of Dragon Ball Super Broly, and the smears
it was cool.
and the art on that looked really good.
Now that's all real cool. He better have an alternate level 3 that's the move from the Janemba movie. Because they show him doing it in the trailer, but who knows if that's real.
Given the fact that he threw it, I feel like it's going to be that, or that's the dramatic finish, where like if you beat Janemba.
Yeah, I hope it isn't just a dramatic finish because it's so cool.
Yeah, where you know, that attack is hilarious.
Good news, everyone. They have the exact Street Fighter you want on backwards compatibility for 360 on Xbox
It's
One.
Puzzle Fighter, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, that's...
I didn't even have to look to know.
Why'd you have to shoot him down like that, Phil?
No, that was perfect.
I was sad.
I had to kill him because I was sad. But yeah, they also have Street Fighter 4, which I guess is nice for people who like Street Fighter 4. Good for you.
You know what I like?
Didn't they? Did Xbox One not get Ultra Street Fighter 4?
Let me scroll down. It might
maybe
start
not,
with the U.
No, because it wouldn't be backwards compat because they ported
No.
Street Fighter 4 to next gen right
Yeah.
at the start of that gen.
Yeah, they did.
That's when they added the characters from Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
It would have been hilarious if they went full force with that and just threw in all the Tekken characters they made in Street Fighter 4.
I'm losing my shit, guys. I scrolled down to Xbox original back compat. It says The King of Fighters Neo Wave, and then under the notes it says US and Mexico only.
Japan don't want that.
We got a copy
And
of that
don't want
over
an
at the
Xbox.
corner, Dan. We haven't played it.
Oh yeah, that's true. Now that we have all these Xbox controllers.
So there's something I like on this podcast, and it's when we can call back to something and say if it was right or wrong. There were statements made about the potential BlazBlue cross tag battle additions. There's no kill at all, but they did reveal that they are adding 9 new characters and a version 2 update.
There's still 5 more that can be revealed potentially.
Field has hope for the future.
Right. There's a chance one of them will be good, unlike any of these.
Oh,
Okay.
Hey,
there's
one
some okay stuff.
Akatsuki is good.
Bob,
Akatsuki is good.
into the crowd.
Look.
Bob.
I was just upset because they put in like a Senator Conquer character that I could
important.
not care about, and then
Let's roll into the characters that they added. This update coming November 21st. It's going to be $25. And so far, they've revealed Akatsuki from Akatsuki Blitzcamp, who I used in Under Night in Birth. He's like the Shoto character.
He's like a guest Shoto.
I had no idea he was a
with
guest
him.
character in that game.
Yeah, I did not know at all.
Me neither.
One of the other characters is from fucking Melty Blood.
Yeah, we knew that one.
Yeah,
of
we knew.
course,
Of course,
she's Kino.
Because we're Melty Blood stands. It's our job.
Also coming is Blitzcamp from Akatsuki Blitzcamp. It's a tank with a skull on it.
Giant
and you tag 'em in.
tank.
It's so dumb.
A giant tank. That's good. That's a real good.
That thing is
conclusion.
basically something we made in Nuts and Bolts.
I mean,
Yes.
Dan was talking about earlier. It's a Mugen character.
It's
Just
they're
straight.
turning it into Mugen.
It is a Mugen character, yes.
I
Ruby
respect
Drowned.
You know why?
Gonna be real good.
Why wouldn't you turn this game into Mugen?
Yeah.
Paid for Mugen is a very profitable model.
So for over a year now, people were waiting for when that data mine was going to finally be confirmed. And yes, Yumi from Senran Kagura will be included in his Blue Cross tag battle.
Somehow
I put
neither
raw
of
with a
the main
question mark
characters.
to see what you guys
Excuse me, let
feel.
me pull the pop filter off here to more properly.
Okay. The crackle really sells it.
Yes, it does.
I thought you'd like her. She's ice. You chew ice. It's like
She's the
Oh, she's an ice
Yumi
chick?
is the Poochie of Senran Kagura.
Oh my god, that's vicious.
Thank you, Dan.
I googled this character because I have no idea who they are.
It's a
One of the first
Senran.
things to-
Why? It's a
I
Senran
don't play
Kagura
Senran
character.
Kagura.
Why are you fucking surprised?
I just googled the person and I'm like, oh, they look like an ice maiden because their eyes are all pale blue, like they're dead on the inside. And then
her
one of the
outfit
top
is,
returns
her outfit
is
is the kimono.
generous.
So she
generous.
So she has like the
models,
the Yuki Onna shit going on.
generous.
But
models.
she's the one that has to get a bunch of attention and be in every game now, to the point when they remade the first one, I think they added in like a time travel scenario involving her.
What? That's sad. Why would
They
they?
added some kind of bonus DLC. They added like a bonus DLC scenario involving her, and I think it might involve time travel.
Okay, so someone
She wasn't until
explain.
one of the later games.
Someone explain why Bob and Phil groaned when they heard this person out of everyone.
She's the leader of the third group or school that was added in a later game, and she's
Okay.
just the lamest character. She's
There's
just-
so
she's
many
boring.
Senran Kagura characters I would rather have in there first. Like I'm not even gonna do the stereotypical thing and be like Daidoji, even though that would be way better. I would be fine with like Yagyu or God, I can't remember these fucking girls'
The
names.
Daidoji
Like
thing
7,000
is
of them.
really weird.
Miyabi, Homura.
You know, I'm reading her bio and I'm not seeing anything that bad. It says, despite her outwardly icy appearance, she holds a big sister's love for her teammates. What is wrong with this wholesome character being in this game?
Can we talk about Neapolitan now? I'd rather talk about Ruby.
Okay. All right. So they're adding another Ruby character. This is Neapolitan, which I think is hilarious because she's
Her name
white,
is great.
But she has
Her name
brown
and
hair
design
and
is
pink
great.
hair.
Her
It's
name
really
and
good.
design are great. It is hilarious to me that she's one of the most popular characters, and coincidentally, she's mute and never has to say dialogue.
Oh,
That probably
that's
is
because
helpful
if
in
she,
Ruby.
If she can't speak, all she can do is be raw. And I've seen videos of her fight, and I'm like, that's good. She fights with like a parasol. She's real neat. She's one of the villain characters too. If I remember correctly.
I guess they picked her because it's like they can't add any other villains without it becoming like a where's the rest of them? So they added the one where it's like they can not have any follow-up questions to adding her.
Yeah. Also, I think she's pretty popular too, so it makes sense that they would go for that character. Then there's a lot of good fight choreography to build off of for that character. Whereas,
Dan, is there a reason you're filling our general chat with honkers?
As I said, that was, and I stopped a while ago. I stopped when we were talking about that character.
Yeah.
I literally have no idea who any Senran Kagura character is.
So I Google her. These are two of the top results.
Well,
this action figure.
A Senran Kagura character. What do you expect?
I don't know. I don't know. Like,
Look.
I literally don't know. I've never Googled a Senran Kagura character. I'm sorry.
Look, the majority of every Senran Kagura character's personality is the honkers, so you have most of it with those two images.
I asked him to describe her character, and he gave me 3 measurements. That's weird.
Honkers. But that's it.
What the director gave me.
Scribbled something about hometown on it. I don't know.
He said, tits are life, ass is hometown, which is a real quote, by the way.
Yes.
But yeah, that's 4 of the 9 characters. They're gonna reveal more of them at a later date. But that's coming out not too long.
None of that swayed me to buy the game. Like, if a Kill la Kill character was announced, I probably would have just done it, even though I don't really like it.
Fun. I picked it up at launch and played it for a decent bit.
I have a weakness for.
I'm surprised that you guys don't own it.
We were waiting for them to put in enough stuff and a good enough bundle for it to work out for us, and it just never crossed that threshold. For me, though, like, I hope they do cross that threshold for us at some point, because honestly, I like ice characters in fighting games. So I don't know anything
Speaking
about
of
this
ice
chick,
characters. The new Under Night In-Birth was confirmed, which is Uniclear.
Dude,
it's a pharmaceutical product.
I read this note in the notes, and I had no idea what the fuck you were talking about. I had to Google.
It's out early 2020. They showed the first character, Landrekia, who is like a wizard ice mage, and he ice skates on the ice he makes.
Okay.
It looks fun. That game is fun. I've played a stunningly large amount of it, considering the other things I played. Like not like 40 hours, because I don't have that much time to play fighting games anymore, but a decent bit. He has a staff and some weird boots that go up to his thigh, but he's also wearing pants. It's strange.
The key art for the new version has him like facing off against the girl who uses the fire.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I looked at that trailer and I'm like, I can't see the differences in anything. I'm too light in that game.
I mean, you played it once. You played it once for an hour.
I played it a few times before and after that session.
I just Googled it to see what this character looks like, and I don't know what my brain was expecting, but the moment I saw it, I was like, oh, right, it's an Under Night In-Birth character. Like,
yeah, it's wrong.
Yes. Anime characters with really buggy eyes.
I've Googled 2 fighting game characters today, both of which ice-based, and I was kind of surprised both times.
There's no honkers on Feels.
They gave us the release date for Grand Blue Versus, which should be February 6th, 2020.
Oh, that's hype.
Raw.
2020 is going to be a good year.
Launching with 11 characters, so they have, I believe, 3 more to reveal.
So wait, wasn't that the Japanese release date though? So we don't have an American one yet?
No, I think they confirmed the whole thing.
Okay.
Now I have to check, because originally it said the Japanese, not Japanese only, but then I think they confirmed it more hard.
Yeah, that was during the Grand Blue Fest.
No, it just says 2020, so I guess we don't know the English date. I imagine it'll be pretty close, because Xseed is doing it, and they've been doing it for a while.
What's the?
It's going to have a full story mode. It's going to have a full story mode, a training mode similar to the one in the mobile game, which is like a very thorough explaining of all the mechanics. Screenshots of the story mode have like it's set up like the mobile game where you have a party, so I have no idea how that's gonna. It even has like the same icons along the top and bottom, so I have no idea how that's gonna actually functionally work, or if it's gonna be very weird. But I'm kind of excited. I'm glad it has a story mode, because I really didn't expect one. I'm sure it'll be like a visual novel style one though, because that's what Grand Blue Fantasy
we
is.
heard about the beat 'em up mode during that same thing, where it's
I missed that.
Yeah, you're literally going to be like fighting off dudes.
Yeah, the RPG mode, like it looked reminiscent to like Vanillaware stuff, like Dragon's Crown, where you see a bunch of character models just punching and fighting and stuff.
Oh, that sounds cool, but I'm getting flashbacks to Guilty Gear Isuka?
Isuka, yeah.
Isuka.
That's exactly what I jumped to as well.
Yeah, then
I was thinking of Tekken Force.
But you get
Tekken Force is better than Guilty Gear
What the fuck is Tekken Force?
Tekken Force is a beat 'em up mode.
For Tekken.
For Tekken.
But you get new weapons in the Grand Blue thing. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
Is that like Death by Degrees, the Nina Williams game?
No, because it's like, imagine if that was just a mode instead of a shitty game.
I think you need to give that game a chance, Dan.
I agree, and it is already on our list.
Cool. Here's another cool thing. They showed a new Guilty Gear. It's in development. In a press release that happened a little bit earlier this week, after Evo, but earlier this week, they say it's targeting PS4, so I imagine it will be like Zerd, where there's a PS4 version and then a PS5 version. The director also, as we were recording this, put out a letter being like, it's pretty, I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's real long, but his basic gist is, this game, the point of this game is neither evolution nor returning to the roots. It's creating something new. So who knows how this is going to play?
I was actually going to mention it too, because I also had it up. I like the statement, to achieve the goal, we have shattered this current franchise into fragments and sifted the pieces to make it unique and charismatic, and we're putting it together to make something new.
Oof, this is kind of scary.
You know what? We saw the game already. It's not going to be a bad Dynasty Warriors thing like Guilty Gear 2 was.
Yeah, it's
a flowery way of saying we're making a new Guilty Gear.
That's what you think, but they showed mechanics that seem like you may be able to do the dead or alive thing where you smash someone through the wall of a fucking level.
That's raw. I want that.
Yeah. I mean, that's... Anytime they talk about tearing the old game down, I kind of get scared because the last couple games they've made have been so dumbed down, like Blaze Blue Cross Tag and Dragon Ball Fighters. This is really worrying. Like, I don't want Guilty Gear to also go that degree.
I didn't think about them making like auto combo stuff or anything else like that for Guilty Gear, or like,
I mean, just adding auto
changing
combo
it drastically.
They've confirmed they're going to dumb down the next Guilty Gear. Like he said that last year, where he said, "Yeah, we made Guilty Gear Exard, or however you pronounce that shit. We made that less complicated, we feel, than the other one." But even that we feel is too complicated for players. So
yeah,
we're scale
good.
It back.
Just keep scaling it back, even though that's been proven to not increase your sales at all.
Yeah, I think they're conflating the success of like Dragon Ball Fighters with its approachability, which I'm sure helps a bit. But I think Dragon Ball helps immensely more.
I think having the biggest anime franchise on the planet attached helped a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually being a good game based on it really helps. But anyways, what's next in news, Phil?
Phil, you get to complain now.
This isn't even complaining. I wouldn't even bring it up if David Hayter hadn't commented on it on Twitter, which is during the Tekken Grand Finals. A Solid Snake codec popped up for a second, and everybody shit their pants and thought, oh shit, is Snake going to be added to Tekken? And turned out, no, that was just a joke that they didn't ask anybody if you could do. And turns out when you're a giant tournament that has multiple corporate sponsors and is in a giant arena in Las Vegas, you tend to get yelled at when you do things with people's IP without confirming with them. So David Hayter yelled at Mr. Wizard on Twitter like, don't fucking do that again.
He said, never use my character, my voice to advertise for anything you're doing. Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny that they thought that this wouldn't be a thing that would confuse literally everyone. Tekken added Negan from The Walking Dead. Anything is possible for that game.
Stop saying that. I forget every time.
The Zavik of Tekken, Negan, was added. Literally anything is possible for that game. Harada also made some tweets of saying, yeah, I chewed them the fuck out. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah,
And he's like, I'm so upset that we worked really hard on our reveal, and now people are upset at us over something Evo did.
Yeah, that was real dumb. First of all, don't piss off Harada. He'll kill you with his bare hands.
It's true.
And then he'll tell you not to ask him for shit.
I noticed that we didn't actually put the real Tekken announcements on this news list.
I forgot there was Tekken announcements.
Oh my fucking god, Field. This is Maximum U. Season 3, I think it's called. They're doing season 3. of Tekken.
Yeah,
which is
7
great.
DLC.
and we're getting Leroy Smith.
What a fucking badass.
The Guilty Gear also revealed a new trailer. I forget what that guy's name is, or if he even has a name, but he's also like
he has a name.
Like a cool Oni Revengeance guy. He's like if you took a design from Revengeance and made it an Oni.
Yeah, you take the Vanquish helmet forming around your face thing, cross that with some fucking bones and demonic shit, and put Afro Samurai in it.
It's so fucking cool. And Leroy Smith is so fucking cool.
I saw it described that Leroy Smith is the final boss of life.
Yeah.
So that is incredible. Alongside Zafina is going to be the character coming out before Leroy Smith.
The warm-up, the appetizer. You have to get ready for the force that is Leroy Smith.
Yeah, she's from Tekken 6, but now she's come back in this game with some sort of monster arm. Looks like it starts as a crystal and then turns into something like Nightmare's hand.
Yeah.
Bob, we have to stop you.
I know.
You're becoming too powerful.
It's like, Bob, how
All
many
of a
games
sudden,
did you
crystal
design for
arms are
this year?
everything. They're going to announce Star Ocean 6. It's going to be a direct sequel to 3 and starring the son of the protagonist.
Tony Hawk has some really exciting things to show us. We have 4 characters in Season Pass 3, as well as a new feature and a new stage. So they did like 6 slots. The first 3 are characters, then a feature, then a character, then a stage. And it's running from September of this year to spring of next year.
Did they confirm or deny if there's any guest character in this?
They have not said anything beyond those 2 characters. They did say free updates, though, in the form of new moves for every character, new play stat displays, updated UI, expanded practice functionality.
It's basically a
replay
revision, but
this.
as DLC.
Yes.
So here's a weird fucking bit of news. Death Stranding has been removed from the list of PlayStation console exclusives.
Yeah, so it can go on Epic later.
How the fuck?
I think that's what's going to happen, because I think that's probably what happened with the David Cage games.
How the fuck does this make sense? Like, it's made on Sony's engine.
Here's my perspective on it. Epic said, we'll give you a shitload of money, and Sony said, okay, people hate you and will buy the game on PS4 anyway.
Maybe.
It could
That's
just
that's the only way it makes sense to me, if that's what happens.
I mean, hey, it lets them make more money off this game coming out this late in a gen. It kind of makes sense in that way. Bob, can you believe we never played the Last Guardian VR demo?
Oh God, I forgot they did that.
I forgot they did that
Gotta
too.
give that a chance.
For anyone who's curious, I'm just staring at the list of exclusives here.
Now I'm gonna give me a second to look up this news article, because on this last one, I want to be very accurate, because it's fucked up.
Yeah, no, that's insane. This is an uppercase allegedly before and after we read this news headline.
Now, the source I read on this was very specific on it, because where I've seen a lot of people commenting on it, where they're saying it happened a lot of times. It was specifically one publisher and once.
I know.
Okay.
I was not going to misrepresent what happened. But this one publisher said, hey, why don't we give you loot boxes that have better odds for you to open on your stream?
That's
insane.
illegal. That's not even borderline not illegal.
What game you think it is?
God, I hope it's not Overwatch.
Oh, it's so... I'm going to say Apex Legends.
I want to say it's not Overwatch because my luck's good and they don't pay me.
Right.
I'm going to go for Apex Legends.
My bet's on Fortnite. I don't think they're smart enough to do that with Apex Legends. I don't think they're conniving enough.
I want to say Dota just because so many people do that one, but
My brain always defaults to which game is doing worse.
Apex Legends fell off pretty hard. So after that initial first month where it was gangbusters, so I could see EA going, we got to get the numbers back up to that completely unsustainable number. Do crimes.
So okay.
Crimes
So
happen. What does Bob think? What game do you think?
Bob was saying. Bob was saying.
I was saying Dota 2, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I don't know if Valve would even
Dota 2
bother.
has loot boxes?
Yeah.
God, you're blowing my fucking mind right now.
I didn't know Dota 2 had loot boxes. I just thought you bought cosmetics.
No. It's all random drops.
Yeah, I don't. At the same time, like I don't think Valve even needs to do that.
Yeah, Valve
Like-
doesn't need to.
So the most logical one is Apex.
Yeah, I've never heard of anybody even mention Dota 2 in the context of loot boxes. So I feel like it would be like Apex, Fortnite, PUBG, or Overwatch. It'd be one of those four.
So my bets on Fortnite. Feels is on Apex. Bob's yours
I
too.
think I'm gonna stick with Apex because that's the most
Okay.
logical, insane one.
KZ, do you have any bets?
Yeah, it's got to be Apex. I feel like Overwatch, especially when loot boxes were like the opening stuff was a big thing.
Yeah.
I feel like the luck in that was really good, unless you were someone who had no items.
I mean,
I had literally zero luck in that game, so I don't know. My first loot box I opened on PS4, 2 of the same item.
Yeah, he gets
That
top
happened to
tier
me, too.
items for a character he doesn't play, and those are the first 2 boxes he opens.
They 3, maybe 5 months before I stopped playing. I think there were like 2 DLC heroes and maybe 3. They put out a patch that straight up changed how they did the RNG in it to prioritize items you don't have.
Yeah,
Which meant that because I had most of the items, I got legendary very easily because they had more of a chance to spit those out as opposed to, oh, here's another blue and a white you already have.
right.
Or here's a legendary you already have.
Boy, I'm glad I didn't get into any of these games. Now let me do my free Grand Blue Fantasy gotcha pulls. One moment.
I want to lick his abs.
So I guess that's all the news. Hopefully we find out which company it was, so that way we can find out. You know.
I want to know so bad,
Me
but
too.
they have to be like, you don't fucking tell anybody. Somebody will go to jail.
We'll sue you for defamation.
You see, what happens is we're going to get it revealed when they monologue about how they used the streamers to do it, but someone pressed the intercom button so everyone in the whole school got to hear it.
No, that's not what's gonna happen. We're gonna find out when some dumbass streamer accidentally says it.
Yeah.
No, what they'll do is they'll accidentally click the email and the people will save the VOD.
Yeah.
That happened.
On a similar thing, this isn't even news, but it's something I realized, so I want to bring it up.
Sure.
They added microtransactions later in Crash Team Racing,
Yes.
so they didn't have to put in-game purchases on the box.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel like that's the same level of stuff like reviews saying the thing that there's none of them in there, or reviews saying this.
They're real
Drop
gentle
rate is
and they're
good.
easy to ignore.
Yeah. It was just like when reviews say the currency was fine, and then when the game comes out or after it comes out, they alter it so that it's not fine. I feel like it's on that same tier. It's a kind of expected almost that if they do that, that's why they did it.
GigaBoots fan Gustavo is really upset at Activision right now because he's like, I have been trying to get them to play this game for months, and then you go and do this shit. I was like, yeah, you and Eric both.
All you need is Diddy Kong Racing. All you need is WizPig.
Yeah, Crash Team Racing doesn't have a WizPig.
Wow. Does anyone Crash Team Racing float in T-pose? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Bob, do you think there's any character at the end of a race in Crash Team Racing who goes,
Good job, kid. You need to go do the races again, but we're stuck loose change on the course.
Collect all the silver coins, Bob.
I think that's very likely.
okay, yeah, well, we did hear that story about how apparently while making Crash Team Racing, they just ripped a level from Diddy Kong Racing.
Right?
Unconfirmed, allegedly.
The logic behind of it, from my understanding of the whole thing, is that they didn't rip off a level. They like took one and went, all right, here's our base. Let's try and figure out how to make a racing game out of this.
I think that's a good way to do something.
Yeah, I agree.
This game works. Let's take a level under a microscope and figure out why.
I just thought that was funny, and I should have mentioned it when Eric was around.
You should have. Because Eric really likes Crash Team Racing, and anything I could do to be like, but hey, what about Diddy Kong Racing is a point in my favor because that game is enjoyable. I'm sure Crash Team Racing is fine.
I wonder if anyone explodes through a wall in Crash Team.
Maybe one day you'll play Diddy Kong Racing as a character that's fun.
Okay, I guess that's all the news. Hey KZ, what do you have coming up in the next week?
Let's see. It'll be Monday by this point, so I would hope that some other supercut came out, but who knows at this point. Final Fantasy 15, I think will be done when this comes out, or relatively close. So it's good to get that taken care of. And my other stuff will continue, the Nuzlocke and Fire Emblem Three Houses. Nothing new should be popping up, as far as I know.
Cool.
How about Feel?
Hello, Earth to Feel.
That wasn't me being silent. That's what's going to happen.
Oh, okay. Thank you for telling us. Thank you for giving us the down low.
Once again, underachieving.
Bob, what are we doing in the next week?
I don't know. I can't see past all the bears.
Okay, well, that's what's coming out of the next week. Thank you all for joining us.
Bob just lays down and closes his eyes and hears.
If you go out to the woods today, you'll realize Grant's a genius.
I feel like to like prank Bob at one point, it would have been great. Just a bunch of people like turn his life into a banjo game where it's like he's like, I'm gonna go get a coffee, and it's like, you can't get that coffee until you go all the way to the bathroom and get this bar of soap, and then you have to give it to Dan, and then he says, no, you can't do it to Dan. You have to give that bar of soap to Aggro transformation. You got to give him the bar of soap.
Yeah, then he gives you the fursuit that you can wear to the coffee place.
And then Aggro's like, I can't talk to you while you're not wearing the wrong shirt.
And then it ends with, okay, here's your coffee, but you have to drink it alone with Xeon while watching wrestling.
Also, it's not even in this room. It's in the next building over.
Fucking Sunshine did that too.
Yeah, Sunshine went up a little bit after I played that game. Anyways, we're ending this. Have a great night! Thanks for listening to this episode of Big Think Dimension. This show, like our other podcasts, is only possible with the generous time our co-hosts have given to us and the equipment we've bought to make it higher quality and easier to produce. Please consider supporting our podcast series on our GigaBoots podcast Patreon and look forward to more gamer premonitions and Big Think Dimension in the future. This GigaBoots video was brought to you by our magnanimous executive producers: Vincent Poverg, Nicholas Cameron, E. Lee Broyles, Brendan O'Sullivan, Star Falcon, Spaceman Spiff, Danny Richardson, Shadow in the Darkness, Dryzart, and Red Blaze 27. And also these guys. Head on over to patreon.com/gigaboots today so you can try to be as cool as these people.